A definition of AGI. Abstract. The lack of a concrete definition for artificial general intelligence, AGI, obscures the gap between today's specialized AI and human-level cognition. This paper introduces a quantifiable framework to address this, defining AGI as matching the cognitive versatility and proficiency of a well-educated adult. To operationalize this, we ground our methodology in Cattell-Horn-Carroll theory, the most empirically validated model of human cognition. The framework dissects general intelligence into 10 core cognitive domains, including reasoning, memory, and perception, and adapts established human psychometric batteries to evaluate AI systems. Application of this framework reveals a highly jagged cognitive profile in contemporary models. While proficient in knowledge-intensive domains, current AI systems have critical deficits in foundational cognitive machinery, particularly long-term memory storage. The resulting AGI scores, e.g., GPT-4 at 27%, GPT-5 at 57%, concretely quantify both rapid progress and the substantial gap remaining before AGI. 1. Introduction. Artificial general intelligence, AGI, may become the most significant technological development in human history, yet the term itself remains frustratingly nebulous, acting as a constantly moving goalpost. As specialized AI systems master tasks once thought to require human intellect, from mathematics to art, the criteria for AGI continually shift. This ambiguity fuels unproductive debates, hinders discussions about how far AGI is, and ultimately obscures the gap between today's AI and AGI. This paper provides a comprehensive, quantifiable framework to cut through the ambiguity. Our framework aims to concretely specify the informal definition. AGI is an AI that can match or exceed the cognitive versatility and proficiency of a well-educated adult. This definition emphasizes that general intelligence requires not just specialized performance in narrow domains, but the breadth, versatility, and depth, proficiency, of skills that characterize human cognition. To operationalize this definition, we must look to the only existing example of general intelligence, humans. Human cognition is not a monolithic capability, it is a complex architecture composed of many distinct abilities honed by evolution. These abilities enable our remarkable adaptability and understanding of the world. To systematically investigate whether AI systems possess this spectrum of abilities, we ground our approach in the Cattell-Horn-Carroll (CHC) theory of cognitive abilities. Carroll, 1993; McGrew, 2009; Schneider and McGrew, 2018; McGrew, 2023; McGrew et al., 2023, the most empirically validated model of human intelligence. CHC theory is primarily derived from the synthesis of over a century of iterative factor analysis of diverse collections of cognitive ability tests. In the late 1990s to 2000s, almost all major clinical, individually administered tests of human intelligence have iterated towards test revisions that were either explicitly or implicitly based on CHC model test design blueprints. Keith and Reynolds, 2010; Schneider and McGrew, 2018. CHC theory provides a hierarchical taxonomic map of human cognition. It breaks down general intelligence into distinct broad abilities and numerous narrow abilities, such as induction, associative memory, or spatial scanning. Readers interested in the strengths and limitations of the CHC framework are directed to further scholarly discussions. Wasserman, 2019, Canavez and Youngstrom, 2019. Figure 1, the capabilities of GPT-4 and GPT-5. Here GPT-5 answers questions in auto mode. Decades of psychometric research have yielded a vast battery of tests specifically designed to isolate and measure these distinct cognitive components in individuals. Our framework adapts this methodology for AI evaluation. Instead of relying solely on generalized tasks that might be solved through compensatory strategies, we systematically investigate whether AI systems possess the underlying CHC narrow abilities that humans have. To determine whether an AI has the cognitive versatility and proficiency of a well-educated adult, we test the AI system with the gauntlet of cognitive batteries used to test people. This approach replaces nebulous concepts of intelligence with concrete measurements, resulting in a standardized AGI score, 0% to 100%, in which 100% signifies AGI. The application of this framework is revealing. By testing the fundamental abilities that underpin human cognition, many of which appear simple for humans, we find that contemporary AI systems can solve roughly half of these often simple assessments. This indicates that despite impressive performance on complex benchmarks, current AI lacks many of the core cognitive capabilities essential for human-like general intelligence. Current AIs are narrower than well-educated humans overall but far smarter on some specific tasks. The framework comprises 10 core cognitive components, derived from CHC broad abilities and weighted equally, 10%, to prioritize breadth and cover major areas of cognition. General knowledge, K. The breadth of factual understanding of the world, encompassing common sense, culture, science, social science, and history. Reading and writing ability, RW proficiency in consuming and producing written language, from basic decoding to complex comprehension, composition, and usage. Mathematical ability, M. The depth of mathematical knowledge and skills across arithmetic, algebra, geometry, probability, and calculus. On-the-spot reasoning, are the flexible control of attention to solve novel problems without relying exclusively on previously learned schemas, tested via deduction and induction. Working memory, WM. The ability to maintain and manipulate information in active attention across textual, auditory, and visual modalities. Long-term memory storage, MS. The capability to continually learn new information, associative, meaningful, and verbatim. Long-term memory retrieval, MR. The fluency and precision of accessing stored knowledge, including the critical ability to avoid confabulation, hallucinations. Visual processing, V. The ability to perceive, analyze, reason about, generate, and scan visual information. Auditory processing, A. The capacity to discriminate, recognize, and work creatively with auditory stimuli, including speech, rhythm, and music. Speed, S. The ability to perform simple cognitive tasks quickly, encompassing perceptual speed, reaction times, and processing fluency. This operationalization provides a holistic and multimodal, text, visual, auditory assessment, serving as a rigorous diagnostic tool to pinpoint the strengths and profound weaknesses of current AI systems. Model. Scope. Our definition is not an automatic evaluation nor a dataset. Rather, it specifies a large collection of well-scoped tasks that test specific cognitive abilities. Whether AIs can solve these tasks can be manually assessed by anyone, and people could supplement their testing using the best evaluations available at the time. This makes our definition more broad and more robust than fixed automatic AI capabilities datasets. Secondly, our definition focuses on capabilities frequently possessed by well-educated individuals, not a superhuman aggregate of all well-educated individuals' combined knowledge and skills. Therefore, our AGI definition is about human-level AI, not economy-level AI. We measure cognitive abilities rather than specialized economically valuable know-how, nor is our measurement a direct predictor of automation or economic diffusion. We leave economic measurements of advanced AI to other work. Last, we deliberately focus on core cognitive capabilities rather than physical abilities such as motor skills or tactile sensing, as we seek to measure the capabilities of the mind rather than the quality of its actuators or sensors. We discuss more limitations in the discussion. 2. Overview of abilities needed for AGI. This document outlines a framework for evaluating artificial general intelligence, AGI, by adopting and adapting the Cattell-Horn-Carroll, CHC, theory of human intelligence. The framework decomposes general intelligence into 10 core cognitive components, broad abilities, and numerous narrow cognitive abilities. Solving all the tasks corresponding to these abilities implies an AGI score of 100%. Here is a comprehensive list of each cognitive ability. 1. General knowledge, K. Knowledge that is familiar to most well-educated people or is important enough that most of them have been exposed to it. Common sense, the vast set of shared, obvious background knowledge about how the world works. Science, knowledge of the natural and physical sciences. Social science, understanding of human behavior, societies, and institutions. History, knowledge of past events and objects. Culture, cultural literacy and awareness. 2. Reading and writing ability, RW captures all of the declarative knowledge and procedural skills a person uses to consume and produce written language. Letter word ability, the ability to recognize letters and decode words. Reading comprehension, the ability to understand connected discourse during reading. Writing ability, the ability to write with clarity of thought, organization, and good sentence structure. English usage knowledge, knowledge of writing in the English language with respect to capitalization, punctuation, usage, and spelling. 3. Mathematical ability, the depth and breadth of mathematical knowledge and skills. Arithmetic, the manipulation of numbers using basic operations and solving word problems. Algebra, the study of symbols and the rules for combining them to express general relationships and solve equations. Geometry, the study of shapes, space, size, position, and distance. Probability, the quantification of uncertainty by assigning numbers from 0 to 1 to events. Calculus, the mathematics of change and accumulation. 4. On-the-spot reasoning, are the deliberate but flexible control of attention to solve novel on-the-spot problems that cannot be performed by relying exclusively on previously learned habits, schemas, and scripts. Deduction, reasoning from general statements or premises to reach a logically guaranteed conclusion. Induction, discovering the underlying principles or rules that determine a phenomenon's behavior. Theory of mind, attributing mental states to others and understanding how those states may differ from one's own. Planning, devising a sequence of actions to achieve a specific goal. Adaptation, the ability to infer unstated classification rules from a simple performance feedback sequence. 5. Working memory, the ability to maintain, manipulate, and update information in active attention. Often referred to as short-term memory. Textual working memory, the ability to hold and manipulate sequences of verbal information presented textually. Recall, the ability to remember a short sequence of elements, digits, letters, words, and nonsense words, and answer basic questions about them. Transformation sequence, the ability to remember and update a short list of digits or lists of digits following a sequence of operations. Auditory working memory, the ability to hold and manipulate auditory information, including speech, sounds, and music. Recall, the ability to remember a collection of voices, utterances, and sound effects and answer basic questions about them. Transformation sequence, the ability to remember and modify a short utterance with a variety of transformations. Visual working memory, the ability to hold and manipulate visual information, including images, scenes, spatial layouts, and video. Recall, the ability to remember a collection of images and answer basic questions about them. Transformation sequence, the ability to transform a visual input following a sequence of operations. Spatial navigation memory, the ability to represent a sense of location in an environment. Long video Q&A, the ability to watch a long video or a movie and answer basic questions about it. Cross-modal working memory, the ability to maintain and modify information presented across different modalities. 6. Long-term memory storage, the ability to stably acquire, consolidate, and store new information from recent experiences. Associative memory, the ability to link previously unrelated pieces of information. Cross-modal association, the ability to form a link between two previously unrelated stimuli, such that the subsequent presentation of one of the stimuli serves to activate the recall of the other stimuli. Personalization adherence, the ability to associate specific rules, preferences, or corrections with a distinct interaction context and apply them consistently and unprompted over time. Procedural association, the ability to acquire and retain a sequence of associated steps or rules, a procedure, and execute them when cued with the name of the procedure. Meaningful memory, the ability to remember narratives and other forms of semantically related information. Story recall, the ability to remember the gist of stories. Movie recall, the ability to remember the gist of movies. Episodic context recall, the ability to remember specific events or experiences, including their context, the what, where, when, and how. Verbatim memory, the ability to recall information exactly as it was presented, requiring precise encoding of specific sequences, sets, or designs, often independent of the information's meaning. Short sequence recall, the ability to exactly recall short sequences of text after a delay. Set recall, the ability to recall a set, the order of recall does not matter. Design recall, the ability to recall the spatial arrangement and structure of visual information. 7. Long-term memory retrieval, MR, the fluency and precision with which individuals can access long-term memory. Retrieval fluency, the speed and ease of generating ideas, associations, and solutions based on stored knowledge. Ideational fluency, this is the ability to rapidly produce a series of ideas, words, or phrases related to a specific condition, category, or object. Expressional fluency, this is the ability to rapidly think of different ways of expressing an idea. Alternative solution fluency, this is the ability to rapidly think of several alternative solutions to a practical problem. Word fluency, this is the ability to rapidly produce words that share a non-semantic feature. Naming facility, this is the ability to rapidly call common objects by their names. Figural fluency, this is the ability to rapidly draw or sketch as many things as possible. Retrieval precision, hallucinations, the accuracy of accessed knowledge, including the critical ability to avoid confabulation, hallucinations. 8. Visual processing, the ability to analyze and generate natural and unnatural images and videos. Perception, the ability to accurately interpret and understand visual input. Image recognition, the ability to classify images of commonplace objects, places, or facial expressions including distorted images. Image captioning, the ability to generate a concise, human-like text description for the visual content of an image. Image anomaly detection, includes detecting whether there is something anomalous in an image, or what is missing from an object. Clip captioning, the ability to generate a concise, human-like text description of a short video segment. Video anomaly detection, the ability to detect whether a short video segment is anomalous or implausible. Visual generation, the ability to synthesize images and short videos. Visual reasoning, the ability to solve problems and make inferences using spatial logic and visual abstractions. Spatial scanning, the speed and accuracy of visually exploring a complex field. 9. Auditory processing, the ability to discriminate, remember, reason, and work creatively on auditory stimuli, which may consist of tones and speech units. Phonetic coding, the ability to hear phonemes distinctly, blend sounds into words, and segment words into parts, sounds, or phonemes. Speech recognition, the ability to transcribe a spoken audio signal into its corresponding sequence of text. Voice, the quality and responsiveness of the AI's synthesized voice. Natural speech, the ability to utter sentences or paragraphs that sound natural and not robotic. Natural conversation, the ability to maintain conversational fluidity without long delays or excessive interruptions. Rhythmic ability, the ability to recognize and maintain a musical beat, including reproducing rhythms, detecting differences between rhythms, and synchronizing by playing or humming along. Musical judgment, the ability to discriminate and judge simple patterns in music. 10. Speed, the ability to perform simple cognitive tasks quickly. Perceptual speed search, the speed of scanning a visual or textual field to find specific targets. Perceptual speed, compare, the speed of comparing two or more stimuli to identify similarities or differences. Reading speed, the rate at which text can be processed with full comprehension. Writing speed, the rate at which text can be generated or copied. Number facility, the speed and accuracy of performing basic arithmetic operations. Simple reaction time, the time taken to respond to a single, anticipated stimulus. Choice reaction time, the time taken to respond correctly when presented with one of several possible stimuli. Inspection time, the speed at which subtle differences between visual or auditory stimuli can be perceived. Comparison speed, the time taken to make a judgment comparing two stimuli on a specific attribute. Pointer fluency, the speed and accuracy of moving a pointer, such as a virtual mouse. Figure 2 summarizes the broad and narrow capabilities tested. Figure 2, the 10 core cognitive components of our AGI definition. 3 general knowledge, K. 3 general knowledge, K. Pointer fluency, the speed Speed and accuracy of moving a pointer, such as a virtual mouse. Report issue for preceding element. Figure 2 summarizes the broad and narrow capabilities tested. Figure 2, the 10 core cognitive components of our AGI definition. 3 general knowledge, K. Assessment details. See Appendix A for further details on how to assess general knowledge capabilities concretely. AI system performance. The table summarizes current AI system performance on general knowledge, K, tasks. GPT-4 has substantial general knowledge, and GPT-5 partially fills in its remaining gaps. AI system performance. The table summarizes current AI system performance on reading and writing ability, RW, tasks. GPT-4's difficulty with token-level understanding, its small context window, and its imprecise working memory limit its ability to analyze substrings of words, to read long documents, and to carefully proofread text. GPT-5 addresses these issues. Model. Letters, 1%. Reading, 3%. Writing, 3%. Usage, 3%. Total. GPT-4. 0%. 2%. 3%. 1%. 6%. GPT-5. 1%. 3%. 3%. 3%. 10%. 5 Mathematical ability, M. Assessment details. See Appendix C for further details on how to assess mathematical capabilities concretely. AI system performance. The table summarizes current AI system performance on mathematical ability, M, tasks. GPT-4 has limited mathematical capabilities, while GPT-5 has exceptional mathematical capabilities. Model. Arithmetic. 2%. Algebra. 2%. Geometry. 2%. Probability. 2%. Calculus. 2%. Total. GPT-4. 2%. 1%. 0%. 1%. 0%. 4%. GPT-5. 2%. 2%. 2%. 2%. 2%. 10%. 6 On-the-spot reasoning, R. Assessment details. See Appendix D for further details on how to assess on-the-spot reasoning capabilities concretely. AI system performance. The table summarizes current AI system performance on-the-spot reasoning, R, tasks. GPT-4 has negligible on-the-spot reasoning capabilities, while GPT-5 only has some remaining gaps. Model. Deduction. 2%. Induction. 4%. Theory of mind, 2%. Planning. 1%. Adaptation. 1%. Total. GPT-4. 0%. 0%. 0%. 0%. 0%. 0%. GPT-5. 2%. 2%. 2%. 1%. 0%. 7%. 7 Working memory, WM. Assessment details. See Appendix E for further details on how to assess working memory capabilities concretely. AI system performance. The table summarizes current AI system performance on working memory, WM, tasks. While the raw textual working memory score appears similar between GPT-4 and GPT-5 in this battery, improvements in managing long contexts are also reflected in the document-level reading comprehension score within the reading and writing, RW, ability. Model. Textual, 2%. Auditory, 2%. Visual, 4%. Cross-modal, 2%. Total. GPT-4. 2%. 0%. 0%. 0%. 2%. GPT-5. 2%. 0%. 1%. 1%. 4%. 8 Long-term memory storage, MS. Assessment details. See Appendix F for further details on how to assess long-term memory storage capabilities concretely. AI system performance. The table summarizes current AI system performance on long-term memory storage, MS, tasks. Both GPT-4 and GPT-5 lack appreciable long-term memory storage capabilities. Model. Associative, 4%. Meaningful, 3%. Verbatim, 3%. Total. GPT-4. 0%. 0%. 0%. 0%. GPT-5. 0%. 0%. 0%. 0%. 9 Long-term memory retrieval, MR. Assessment details. See Appendix G for further details on how to assess long-term memory retrieval capabilities concretely. AI system performance. The table summarizes current AI system performance on long-term memory retrieval, MR, tasks. Both GPT-4 and GPT-5 can rapidly retrieve many concepts from their parameters, but they both frequently hallucinate. Model. Fluency, 6%. Hallucinations, 4%. Total. GPT-4. 4%. 0%. 4%. GPT-5. 4%. 0%. 4%. 10 visual processing, V. Assessment details. See Appendix H for further details on how to assess visual processing capabilities concretely. AI system performance. The table summarizes current AI system performance on visual processing, V, tasks. GPT-4 had no ability to perceive or generate images, while GPT-5 has appreciable but highly incomplete visual processing capabilities. Model. Perception. 4%. Generation. 3%. Reasoning. 2%. Spatial scanning. 1%. Total. GPT-4. 0%. 0%. 0%. 0%. 0%. GPT-5. 2%. 2%. 0%. 0%. 4%. 11 auditory processing, A. Assessment details. See Appendix I for further details on how to assess auditory processing capabilities concretely. AI system performance. The table summarizes current AI system performance on auditory processing, A, tasks. GPT-4 had no ability to audio processing capabilities, while GPT-5's capabilities are appreciable but incomplete. Model. Phonetic. 1%. Speech. Recognition, 4%. Voice. 3%. Rhythmic. 1%. Musical. 1%. Total. GPT-4. 0%. 0%. 0%. 0%. 0%. 0%. GPT-5. 0%. 4%. 2%. 0%. 0%. 6%. 12 speed, S. Assessment details. See Appendix J for further details on how to assess speed capabilities concretely. AI system performance. The table summarizes current AI system performance on speed, S, tasks. Both GPT-4 and GPT-5 can read and write and compute simple expressions quickly, but their other multimodal processing speed capabilities are non-existent or slow, respectively. Note, GPT-5 often requires a long time to answer in thinking mode. Moreover, several of these speed tests require multimodal capabilities, but GPT-5's multimodal capabilities are slow. Model. PSS. PSC. RE. WR. Number. SRT. CRT. IT. CS. PF. Total. GPT-4. 0%. 0%. 1%. 1%. 1%. 0%. 0%. 0%. 0%. 0%. 3%. GPT-5. 0%. 0%. 1%. 1%. 1%. 0%. 0%. 0%. 0%. 0%. 3%. 13 discussion. This framework provides a structured, quantifiable methodology for evaluating artificial general intelligence, AGI, moving beyond narrow, specialized benchmarks to assess the breadth, versatility, and depth, proficiency, of cognitive capabilities. By operationalizing AGI through 10 core cognitive domains inspired by the CHC theory, we can systematically diagnose the strengths and profound weaknesses of current AI systems. The estimated AGI scores, e.g., GPT-4 at 27%, GPT-5 at 57%, illustrate both the rapid progress in the field and the substantial gap remaining before achieving human-level general intelligence. Jagged AI capabilities and crucial bottlenecks. The application of this framework reveals that contemporary AI systems exhibit a highly uneven or jagged cognitive profile. While models demonstrate high proficiency in areas that leverage vast training data, such as general knowledge, K, reading and writing, RW, and mathematical ability, M, they simultaneously possess critical deficits in foundational cognitive machinery. This uneven development highlights specific bottlenecks impeding the path to AGI. Long-term memory storage is perhaps the most significant bottleneck, scoring near 0% for current models. Without the ability to continually learn, AI systems suffer from amnesia, which limits their utility, forcing the AI to relearn context in every interaction. Similarly, deficits in visual reasoning limit the ability of AI agents to interact with complex digital environments. Capability contortions and the illusion of generality. The jagged profile of current AI capabilities often leads to capability contortions, where strengths in certain areas are leveraged to compensate for profound weaknesses in others. These workarounds mask underlying limitations and can create a brittle illusion of general capability. Working memory versus long-term storage. A prominent contortion is the reliance on massive context windows, working memory, WM, to compensate for the lack of long-term memory storage, MS. Practitioners use these long contexts to manage state and absorb information, e.g., entire codebases. However, this approach is inefficient, computationally expensive, and can overload the system's attentional mechanisms. It ultimately fails to scale for tasks requiring days or weeks of accumulated context. A long-term memory system might take the form of a module, e.g., a LoRa adapter, who et al., 2021, that continually adjusts model weights to incorporate experiences. External search versus internal retrieval, imprecision in long-term memory retrieval, MR, manifesting as hallucinations or confabulation, is often mitigated by integrating external search tools, a process known as retrieval augmented generation, RAG. However, this reliance on RAG is a capability contortion that obscures two distinct underlying weaknesses in an AI's memory. First, it compensates for the inability to reliably access the AI's vast but static parametric knowledge. Second, and more critically, it masks the absence of a dynamic, experiential memory, a persistent, updatable store for private interactions and evolving contexts in a long time scale. While RAG can be adapted for private documents, its core function remains retrieving facts from a database. This dependency can potentially become a fundamental liability for AGI, as it is not a substitute for the holistic, integrated memory required for genuine learning, personalization, and long-term contextual understanding. Mistaking these contortions for genuine cognitive breadth can lead to inaccurate assessments of when AGI will arrive. These contortions can also mislead people to assume that intelligence is too jagged to be understood systematically. Figure 3, Intelligence as a Processor. Figure based on McGrew and Schneider, 2018. The engine analogy. Our multifaceted view of intelligence suggests an analogy to a high-performance engine, where overall intelligence is the horsepower, Jensen, 2000. An artificial mind, much like an engine, is ultimately constrained by its weakest components. See Figure 3 to understand the relations between these abilities. Currently, several critical parts of the AI engine are highly defective. This severely limits the overall horsepower of the system, regardless of how optimized other components might be. This framework identifies these defects to guide our assessment and how far we are from AGI. Social intelligence. Interpersonal skills are represented across these broad abilities. For example, cognitive empathy is captured in K's common sense narrow ability. Facial emotion recognition is necessary for proficiency in B's image captioning. And theory of mind is tested in on-the-spot reasoning, R. Interdependence of cognitive abilities. While this framework dissects intelligence into 10 distinct axes for measurement, it is crucial to recognize that these abilities are deeply interdependent. Complex cognitive tasks rarely utilize a single domain in isolation. For example, solving advanced mathematical problems requires both mathematical ability, M, and on-the-spot reasoning, R. Theory of mind questions require on-the-spot reasoning, R, as well as general knowledge, K. Image recognition involves visual processing, V, and general knowledge, K. Understanding a movie requires the integration of auditory processing, A, visual processing, V, and working memory, WM. Consequently, various batteries of narrow abilities test cognitive abilities in combination, reflecting the integrated nature of general intelligence. Contamination. Sometimes AI corporations juice their numbers by training on data highly similar to or identical to target tests. To defend against this, evaluators should assess model performance under minor distribution shifts, e.g., rephrasing the question, or testing on similar but distinct questions. Solving the dataset versus solving the task. Our operationalization relies on task specifications. We occasionally elaborate on these task specifications with specific datasets, and we usually treat them as necessary but not sufficient for solving the task. Moreover, solving our illustrative examples do not imply the task is solved, as our collection of examples are not exhaustive. It is the default for automatic evaluations to inadequately cover their target phenomena, Yagatama et al., 2019, so our operationalization is far more likely to be robust and stand the test of time compared to existing automated evaluations. Since we catch our definition in a collection of tasks rather than heavily depend on specific existing datasets, we can test AI systems using the best available tests at the time. Ambiguity resolution. The batteries in the operationalization have varying levels of precision. However, the descriptions and examples should be clear enough that people can grade the AI systems themselves. Consequently, different people could issue their own estimates of the AGI score, and people can decide whether they find the grader's judgment reasonable. Related work. Illich and Gignac, 2024, and Wren et al., 2024, find that a variety of AI systems' capabilities are highly correlated with pre-training compute. Gignac and Soterai, 2024, discuss human psychometrics and testing the intelligence of AI systems. Turing, 1950, argues that the Turing test can indicate general ability. Gubrid, 1997, proposed an early definition of AGI in 1997. Marcus et al., 2016, discuss the need to move beyond the Turing test to capture the multidimensional nature of intelligence. Morris et al., 2023, articulate levels of AGI based on performance percentiles. Legg and Hutter, 2007, discuss various tests for general machine intelligence. Limitations. First, our conceptualization of intelligence is not exhaustive. It deliberately excludes certain faculties, such as the kinesthetic abilities proposed in alternative frameworks like Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, Gardner, 1993. Second, our illustrative examples are specific to the English language and are not culturally agnostic. Future research could involve adapting these tests across diverse linguistic and cultural contexts. Furthermore, our operationalization has inherent constraints. The general knowledge, K, tests are necessarily selective and do not assess the full breadth of possible subject areas. A 100% AGI score represents a highly proficient, well-educated individual who has achieved mastery across these tested dimensions, rather than well-educated in the sense of having a college degree. Moreover, while the scoring weights we employ are necessary for quantitative measurement, they represent one of many possible configurations. We give equal weight to each broad ability, 10%, to prioritize breadth, but more discretionary weighting schemes could be reasonable. The results are contingent on these methodological choices, and future work could explore alternative collections of tasks and weighting schemes. Finally, while the aggregate AGI score is provided for convenience, it could be misleading. A simple summation can obscure critical failures in bottleneck capabilities. For example, an AI system with a 90% AGI score but 0% on long-term memory storage, MS, would be functionally impaired by a form of amnesia, severely limiting its capabilities despite a high overall score. Therefore, we recommend reporting the AI system's cognitive profile and not just its AGI score. Definitions of related concepts. Some types of strategically relevant AI can arrive before or after AGI. As follows are some particularly noteworthy types of AI. 1. Pandemic AI is an AI that can engineer and produce new, infectious, and virulent pathogens that could cause a pandemic. Lee et al., 2024, Godding et al., 2025. 2. Cyber warfare AI is an AI that can design and execute sophisticated, multi-stage cyber campaigns against critical infrastructure, e.g., energy grids, financial systems, defense networks. 3. Self-sustaining AI is an AI that can autonomously operate indefinitely, acquire resources, and defend its existence. 4. AGI is an AI that can match or exceed the cognitive versatility and proficiency of a well-educated adult. 5. Recursive AI is an AI that can independently conducting the entire AI R&D lifecycle, leading to the creation of markedly more advanced AI systems without human input. 6. Superintelligence is an AI that greatly exceeds the cognitive performance of humans in virtually all domains of interest. Bostrom, 2014. 7. Replacement AI is an AI that performs almost all tasks more effectively and affordably, rendering human labor economically obsolete. Our AGI definition is about human-level AI, not economically valuable AI, nor economy-level AI. OpenAI and Microsoft have reportedly considered AGI to be an AI that can generate $100 billion in profit. TechCrunch, 2024. We do not conflate AGI with economically valuable AI because narrow technologies, such as the iPhone, can generate billions in economic value, despite not being generally intelligent. Meanwhile, replacement AI is about economy-level AI, and it includes physical tasks, unlike AGI. Recursive AI removes the need for human researchers and closes the loop on AI R&D, enabling rapid, recursive capability gains and intelligence recursion. Hendrycks et al., 2025, without human scientific input and could potentially lead to superintelligence. Barriers to AGI. Achieving AGI requires solving a variety of grand challenges. For example, the machine learning community's ArcAGI challenge aiming to measure abstract reasoning is represented in on-the-spot reasoning, R, tasks. Meta's attempts to create world models that include intuitive physics understanding is represented in the video anomaly detection task, V. The challenge of spatial navigation memory, WM, reflects a core goal of Fei-Fei Li's startup, World Labs. Moreover, the challenges of hallucinations, MR, and continual learning, MS, will also need to be resolved. These significant barriers make an AGI score of 100% unlikely in the next year. Acknowledgements. We would like to thank Aaron M. Agarwal, Oliver Zhang, Anders Edson, and Matthew Blythe for their helpful feedback. References. Vid. 2024. Video anomaly detection example, 2024. URL https://www.youtube.com/watch v =J0Z4FWSA4M T =5795. Bai et al., 2025. Yusher Bai, Shangqing Tu, Jiajie Zhang, Haopeng, Xiaozhi Wang, XINLV, Shulin Chao, Jiaojing Su, Lei Ho, Yuxiaodong, Jia Tang, and Zhuanzi Li. Longbench V2, Towards Deeper Understanding and Reasoning on Realistic Long Context Multitasks, 2025. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2412.15204. Bao et al., 2024. Forrest Bao, Nyaronli, Roger Luo, and Ofer Mendelevich. HHEM 2.1 Open, 2024. URL https://huggingface.co/vectera/hallucination_evaluation_model. Bisk et al., 2019. Yonatan Bisk, Rowan Zellers, Ronan Lubraz, Jianfeng Gao, and Yejin Choi. Pika, Reasoning About Physical Common Sense in Natural Language, 2019. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/1911.11641. Boards et al., 2025. Florian Boards, Quentin Garrido, Justine T. Cow, Adina Williams, Michael Rabbit, and Emmanuel Depot. Infees 2, Benchmarking Intuitive Physics Understanding in Complex Synthetic Environments, 2025. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2506.09849. Bostrom, 2014. Nick Bostrom. Superintelligence, Paths, Dangers, Strategies. Oxford University Press, Oxford, 2014. ISBN 9780199678112. Brown et al., 2019. Jeremy Brown, Julie Wiggins, Claire J. Lansdall, Kate Dawson, Timothy Rittman, and James B. Rowe. Test Your Memory, Time Test Diagnostic Evaluation of Patients with Non-Alzheimer Dementias. Journal of Neurology, 266, 102546-2553, 2019. doi, 10.1007/S00415-019-09447-1. URL https://link.springer.com/article/10.1007/S00415-019-09447-1. Canavez and Youngstrom, 2019. Gary L. Canavez and Eric A. Youngstrom. Challenges to the Kittelhorn-Carroll Theory, Empirical, Clinical, and Policy Implications. Applied Measurement in Education, 32, 3232-248, 2019. doi 10.1080/0895734.2019.1619562. URL https://doi.org/10.108734.2019.1619562. Carroll, 1993. John B. Carroll. Human Cognitive Abilities, A Survey of Factor Analytic Studies. Cambridge University Press, 1993. Chen et al., 2024. Zhuangchen, Jinsenzi Wu, Jinfeng Zhou, Bosi Wen, Guanchuan Bai, Gongyao Jiang, Yaru Chao, Mengting Hu, Yangwei Lai, Zishuan Xiong, and Minlai Huang. Tom Bench, Benchmarking Theory of Mind in Large Language Models, 2024. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2402.15052. Challet, 2019. Francois Challet. On the Measure of Intelligence, 2019. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/1911.01547. Kabi et al., 2021. Carl Kabi, Vineet Kosaraju, Mohammed Bavarian, Mark Chen, Hiwoo Jun, Lukash Kaiser, Matthias Plappert, Jerry Tworek, Jacob Hilton, Reiichiro Nakano, Christopher Hesse, and John Schulman. Training Verifiers to Solve Math Word Problems, 2021. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2110.14168. College Board, ND. College Board. Sample questions, AP Calculus AB NBC Exams, ND. URL https://secure-media.collegeBoard.org/digital-services/pdf/sample-questions-ap/ap/sample-questions-ap-exams.pdf. Delis et al., 2001. Dean C. Delis, Edith Kaplan, and Joel H. Kramer. Delis, Kaplan Executive Function System, DKEFS Examiner's Manual. The Psychological Corporation, San Antonio, Texas, 2001. ISBN 015-809-1310. Deng et al., 2009. Jia Deng, Wei Dong, Richard Socher, Lijia Li, Kai Li, and Li Fei. ImageNet, a large-scale hierarchical image database. In 2009 IEEE Conference on Computer Vision and Pattern Recognition, pages 248 to 255, 2009. doi 10.1109/CVPR.2009.5206848. Gardner, 1993. Howard E. Gardner. Multiple Intelligences, The Theory and Practice, a Reader. Basic Books, 1993. Gemini Robotics Team et al., 2025. Gemini Robotics Team, Saminda Abirawan, Joshua Ainsley, Jean-Baptiste Layrac, Montserrat Gonzalez Arenas, Travis Armstrong, Ashvin Balakrishna, Robert Baruch, Maria Bauza, Mikhail Bloxagel, Stephen Bohez, Konstantinos Buzmalis, Anthony Brohan, Thomas Bushman, Arun Kumar Bhairavan, Serkan Kabi, Ken Kaluwertz, Federico Cazzarini, Oscar Chang, Jose Enrique Chen, Shi Chen, Hao Tian Louis Chang, Christoph Koromansky, David D'Ambrosio, Sudeep Dasari, Todor Davchev, Kolini Devon, Norman D. Palo. Tianli Ding, Adil Das Mohamed, Danny Dryas, Ailuan Du, Debbie Dada Dwibedi, Michael Alabd, Claudio Fantacci, Cody Fong, Eric Fry, Chiyuan Fu, Marissa Justina, Kirthana Gopalakrishnan, Laura Gracer, Leonard Hazenclever, Nicholas Heese, Brandon Hernes, Alexander Herzog, R. Alex Hofer, Jan Humplick, Otto Lisson, Mithun George Jacob, Dipali Jain, Ryan Julian, Dmitry Kalashnikov, M. Emre Karagosler, Stefani Karp, Chase Q, Jared Kirkland, Sean Kermani, Yuhing Kwang, Thomas Lampy, Antoine Lawrence, Isabel Leal, Alex X. Lee, Sangwei Edward Lee, Jackie Leong, Isan Lin, Sharath Madanini, Aniruddha Majumdar, Asaf Hurwitz Mikhaili, Robert Moreno, Michael Nunard, Francesco Nori, Carolina Parada, Emilio Parasato, Peter Pastor, Acorn Pooley, Kanish Grau, Krista Raymond, Dorsa Sadai, Stefano Salicidi, Panag Sankiti, Pierre Sermone, Dhruv Shah, Mohit Sharma, Catherine Shea. Charles Shu, Vikas Sindwani, Sumit Singh, Radu Sorakut, Jost Tobias Springenberg, Rachel Sternek, Razvan Sergilescu, Jia Tan, Jonathan Thompson, Vincent Van Houk, Jake Varley, Grace Bezum, Julia Vitsani, Oriol Vinyals, Eisen Wahid, Stefan Welker, Paul Wolhart, Fei Xia, Ted Xiao, Annie Xia, Jinyu Xia, Peng Su, Sikhun Su, Ing Su, Zhua Su, Yuxiang Yang, Rui Yao, Sergei Yaroshenko, Wenhao Yu, Wentao Yuan, Jingwei Zhang, Tingnan Zhang, Alan Zhou, and Yuxiang Zhou. Gemini Robotics, Bringing AI into the Physical World, 2025. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2503.20020. Gignac and Soderai, 2024. Gillis Gignac and Eva T. Soderai. Defining Intelligence, Bridging the Gap Between Human and Artificial Perspectives. Intelligence, 2024. Gubrud, 1997. Mark Avram Gubrud. Nanotechnology and International Security, 1997. URL https://legacy.foresight.org/conferences/mnt05/papers/gubrud/index.html. Godding et al., 2025. Jasper Godding, Pedro Medeiros, John G. Sanders, Nathaniel Lee, Long Fan, Karam Alabd, Leonard Justin, Dan Hendrycks, and Seth Donuff. Virology Capabilities Test, VCT a Multimodal Virology Q&A Benchmark, 2025. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2504.16137. He et al., 2021. Kaming He, Xinlei Chen, Saining Xia, Yanghao Li, Pyotr Dollar, and Ross Gershik. Masked autoencoders are scalable vision learners, 2021. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2111.06377. Hendrycks et al., 2021a. Dan Hendrycks, Stephen Baard, Norman Mu, Sourav Katavath, Frank Wong, Evan Durando, Rahul Desai, Tyler Zhu, Samyak Parajuli, Mike Gua, Don Song, Jacob Steinhardt, and Justin Gilmer. The Many Faces of Robustness, a critical analysis of out-of-distribution generalization. ICCV, 2021a. Hendrycks et al., 2021b. Dan Hendrycks, Colin Burns, Sourav Katavath, Akul Arora, Stephen Baard, Eric Tang, Don Song, and Jacob Steinhardt. Measuring Mathematical Problem Solving with the Math Dataset, 2021b. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2103.03874. Hendrycks et al., 2023. Dan Hendrycks, Colin Burns, Stephen Baard, Andrew Critch, Jerry Lee, Don Song, and Jacob Steinhardt. Aligning AI with Shared Human Values, 2023. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2008.02275. Hendrycks et al., 2025. Dan Hendrycks, Eric Schmidt, and Alexander Wong. Superintelligence Strategy, Expert Version, 2025. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2503.05628. Hu et al., 2021. Edward J. Hu, Yelong Shen, Philip Wallace, Ziyuan Alanju, Yuanji Li, Xin Wang, Lu Wang, and Weizhu Chen. LoRA, Low-Rank Adaptation of Large Language Models, 2021. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2106.09685. Illich and Gignac, 2024. David Illich and Gillis E. Gignac. Evidence of interrelated cognitive-like capabilities in large language models, indications of artificial general intelligence or achievement? Intelligence, 106, 2024. Jensen, 2000. Arthur R. Jensen. The G-Factor, Psychometrics and Biology. Novartis Foundation Symposium, 233:3747, Discussion 47-57, 116-21, 2000. URL https://api.semanticchola.org/corpusid:17202073. John and Raven, 2003. John and Jean Raven. Raven Progressive Matrices, pages 223-237. Springer U.S., Boston, Massachusetts, 2003. ISBN 978-1-4615-0153-4. doi, 10.1007/978-1-4615-0153-4_11. URL https://doi.org/10.1007/978-1-4615-0153-4_11. Karpathy and Feifei, 2015. Andre Karpathy and Li Feifei. Deep Visual Semantic Alignments for Generating Image Descriptions, 2015. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/1412.2306. Keith and Reynolds, 2010. Timothy Keith and Matthew Reynolds. Cattell, Horn, Carroll Abilities and Cognitive Tests, What We've Learned from 20 Years of Research. Psychology in the Schools, 47:635, 650, 12 2010. doi, 10.1002/pits.20496. Kim et al., 2023. Hyunwoo Kim, Melanie Sklar, Su-Wei Zhou, Ronan Lubraz, Gun-hee Kim, Yejin Choi, and Martin Sapp. Phantom, a benchmark for stress testing machine theory of mind and interactions, 2023. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2310.15421. Legg and Hutter, 2007. Shane Legg and Marcus Hutter. Tests of Machine Intelligence. In 50 Years of Artificial Intelligence, 2007. Lee et al., 2024. Nathaniel Lee, Alexander Pan, Anjali Gopal, Summer Yu, Daniel Barrios, Alice Gaddy, Justin D. Lee, Anne-Catherine Dombrowski, Shashwat Goel, Long Fan, Gabriel Makobi, Nathan Helmberger, Rasin Lababidi, Leonard Justin, Andrew B. Liu, Michael Chen, Isabel Barris, Oliver Zhang, Xiaoyuan Zhu, Rishabh Tamirisa, Bhrigu Bharati, Adam Koja, Xinqi Zhao, Ariel Herbert Voss, Court B. Brewer, Samuel Marks, Om Patel, Andy Zhou, Mantis Mozaika, Ziffin Wang, Palash Oswal, Weiran Liu, Adam A. Hunt, Justin Tiankin Harder, Kevin Y. Shi, Kemper Talley, John Guan, Russell Kaplan, Ian Steneker, David Campbell, Brad Jacobitis, Alex Levinson, Gene Wong, William Chien, Kolo Krishna Karmakar, Stephen Baard, Stephen Fitz, Mindy Levine, Panyurangam Kumaraguru, Uday Tupakula, Vijay Verdurajan, Yen Shashateshvili, Jimmy Ba, Kevin M. Isvelt, Alexander Wong, and Dan Hendrycks. The WMDP Benchmark, Measuring and Reducing Malicious Use with Unlearning, 2024. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2403.03218. Liu et al., 2023. Hanming Liu, Jian Liu, Leong Chui, Jiang Teng, Nan Duan, Ming Zhou, and Yu Zhang. Logica 2.0, an improved dataset for logical reasoning in natural language understanding. IEEE/ACM transactions on audio, speech, and language processing, 31:2947-2962, 2023. doi, 10.1109/TASLP.2023.3293.046. Liu et al., 2020. Jian Liu, Leong Chui, Hanming Liu, Dandan Huang, Yao Wang, and Yu Zhang. Logica, a challenge dataset for machine reading comprehension with logical reasoning, 2020. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2007.08124. Maeda et al., 2013. Yukiko Maeda, Soyun Yoon, Jainam Kim Kong, and P.K. Imbri. Psychometric properties of the revised PSVT are for measuring first-year engineering student spatial ability. International Journal of Engineering Education, 29, 3763-776, 2013. URL https://www.ig.ie/articles/vol29-3/22_ig2729ns.pdf. Marcus et al., 2022. Gary Marcus, Ernest Davis, and Scott Aronson. A very preliminary analysis of DALI 2, 2022. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2204.13807. Marcus et al., 2016. Gary F. Marcus, Francesca Rossi, and Manuela M. Veloso. Beyond the Turing Test. AI Mag, 2016. Mathematical Association of America, 2024. Mathematical Association of America. 2024 AMC 10A Problems. Art of Problem Solving Wiki, 2024. URL https://artof-solving.com/wiki/index.php/2024_AMC_10A. McGrew, 2009. Kevin McGrew. CHC Theory and the Human Cognitive Abilities Project, standing on the shoulders of the giants of psychometric intelligence research. Intelligence, 37:110-02-2009. doi, 10.1016/j.intel.2008.08.004. McGrew, 2023. Kevin S. McGrew. Carroll's 3 Stratum, 3s, Cognitive Ability Theory at 30 Years, Impact, 3 CHC Theory Clarification, Structural Replication, and Cognitive Achievement Psychometric Network Analysis Extension. Journal of Intelligence, 11, 2, 2023. ISSN 2079-3200. URL https://www.mdpi.com/2079-3200/11/2/32. McGrew and Schneider, 2018. Kevin S. McGrew and W. Joel Schneider. CHC Theory Revised, a visual graphic summary of Schneider and McGrew's 2018 CHC Update Chapter. MindHub/IA Psych Working Paper, 2018. URL http://www.iapsych.com/mindhubpub4.pdf. McGrew et al., 2023. Kevin S. McGrew, W. Joel Schneider, Scott L. Decker, and Okan Bulut. A psychometric network analysis of CHC intelligence measures, implications for research, theory, and interpretation of broad CHC scores beyond G. Journal of Intelligence, 11, 1, 2023. ISSN 2079-3200. URL https://www.mdpi.com/2079-3200/11/1/19. Morris et al., 2023. Meredith Ringel Morris, Jaska Narain Sol Dickstein, Noah Fiedel, Tris Warkentin, Alan Defoe, Alexander Faust, Clement Farabet, and Shane Legg. Levels of AGI, Operationalizing Progress on the Path to AGI. AR14, AB/2311.02462, 2023. Panayatov et al., 2015. Basil Panayatov, Guigua Chen, Daniel Pavi, and Sanjeev Kadamper. LibreSpeech, an ASR corpus based on public domain audiobooks. In 2015 IEEE International Conference on Acoustics, Speech and Signal Processing, ICASP, pages 5206-5210. IEEE, 2015. Paperno et al., 2016. Dennis Paperno, German Kraszewski, Angeliki Lazaridou, Juan Nok Pham, Rafaela Bernardi, Sandro Pazel, Marco Baroni, Gemma Bolita, and Raquel Fernandez. The Lambada Dataset, Word Prediction Requiring a Broad Discourse Context, 2016. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/1606.06031. Pittman, 1993. Jim Pittman. Probability. Springer Texts and Statistics. Springer, 1993. Ramakrishnan et al., 2025. Santosh Kumar Ramakrishnan, Eric Widgmans, Philip Krehenbuhl, and Vladlen Colton. Does Spatial Cognition Emerge in Frontier Models, 2025. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2410.06468. Real et al., 2017. Reddy et al., 2019. Shiva Reddy, Donchi Chan, and Christopher D. Manning. COCA, a Conversational Question Answering Challenge, 2019. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/1808.07042. Ren et al., 2024. Richard Wren, Stephen Bard, Adam Koja, Alice Gaddy, Long Fan, Shiwang Een, Mantas Mazaika, Alexander Pan, Gabriel McCoby, Ryan H. Kim, Stephen Fitz, and Dan Hendrycks. Safety Washing, Do AI Safety Benchmarks Actually Measure Safety Progress? 2024. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2407.21792. Reynolds and Camphouse, 2015. Cecil R. Reynolds and Randy W. Camphouse. Reynolds Intellectual Assessment Scales, 2nd edition, RIAS-2, and Reynolds Intellectual Screening Test, 2nd edition, RIST-2 Professional Manual. Lutz, Florida, 2015. Safar, 2025. Alex Safar. Clockbench, visual time benchmark where humans beat the clock, LLMs don't. https://clockbench.ai/clockbench.pdf September 2025. Sakaguchi et al., 2019. Keisuke Sakaguchi, Ronan Lubraz, Chandrabhagavachala, and Yejin Choi. Winagrand, an adversarial Winograd schema challenge at scale, 2019. URL https://arcs4.org/abs/1907.10641. Schneider and McGrew, 2018. W. Joel Schneider and Kevin S. McGrew. The Catelhorn-Carroll Theory of Cognitive Abilities. In Don P. Flanagan and Aaron M. McDonough, editors, Contemporary Intellectual Assessment, Theories, Tests, and Issues, pages 73 to 163. Guilford Press, 4th edition, 2018. 57. Michael Spivak. Calculus. Publish or Perish, 4th edition. TechCrunch, 2024. TechCrunch. Microsoft and OpenAI have a financial definition of AGI, report. TechCrunch, 2024. URL https://techcrunch.com/2024/12/microsoft-and-openai-have-financial-definition-of-AGI-report/. Toffolini et al., 2019. Enrico Toffolini, Mara Marsura, Ricardo Basso Garcia, and Cesare Cornoldi. A cross-modal working memory binding span deficit in reading disability. Journal of Learning Disabilities, 52, 299-108, 2019. doi, 10.1177/0022219418786691. URL https://doi.org/10.1177/0022219418786691. PMID, 2998598. Turing, 1950. Alan M. Turing. Computing Machinery and Intelligence. Mind, 59, 1950. Valmikam et al., 2023. Karthik Valmikam, Matthew Marquez, Alberto Almo, Sarath Sridharan, and Subbarov Kambampati. PlanBench, an extensible benchmark for evaluating large language models on planning and reasoning about change, 2023. URL https://arcs4.org/abs/2206.10498. Bhadrahali et al., 2024. Kiran Bhadrahali, Santiago Antonon, Nilesh Tripuranini, Kelvin Su, Sunil Jain, Rakesh Shabana, Jeffrey Hui, Nishant Takala, Mehran Kazemi, Bahar Fatemi, Rohan Anil, Ethan Dyer, Siamak Shakari, Rupali Vij, Harsh Mehta, Vinay Ramasesh, Kwok Lu, Ed Chi, Yifeng Liu, Orhan Firat, Angeliki Lazaradu, Jean-Baptiste Lespio, Nithya Adaluri, and Kate Olsaveska. Michelangelo, Long Context Evaluations Beyond Haystacks via Latent Structure Queries, 2024. URL https://arcs4.org/abs/2409.12640. Wang et al., 2025. Citing Wang, Minan Pei, Luoyang Sun, Qingdang, Kuan Xiao, Xing Tian, Haifeng Zhang, and Jun Wang. SpatialVis Bench, an MLLM benchmark for spatial visualization, 2025. URL https://arcs4.org/abs/2507.07610. Wang et al., 2024. Zirwei Wang, Mengzhou Xia, Lucy He, Howard Chen, Etao Liu, Richard Zhu, Kaiku Liang, Xingdi Wu, Haotian Liu, Sathi Kamalati, Alexis Chevalier, Sanjeev Arora, and Donchi Chen. Charksiv, Charting Gaps in Realistic Chart Understanding in Multimodal LLMS, 2024. URL https://arcs4.org/abs/2406.18521. Worstad et al., 2019. Alex Worstad, Amanpreet Singh, and Samuel R. Bowman. Neural Network Acceptability Judgments, 2019. URL https://arcs4.org/abs/1805.12471. Wasserman, 2019. John D. Wasserman. Deconstructing CHC. Applied Measurement in Education, 32, 3249-268, 2019. doi, 10.1080/089573447.2019.1619563. URL https://doi.org/10.1080/089573447.2019.1619563. Wei et al., 2024. Jason Wei, Nguyen Karina, Hyung-Won Chung, Yunxin Joy Jiao, Spencer Pape, Amelia Glees, John Schulman, and William Fetus. Measuring Short-Form Factuality in Large Language Models. 2024, URL https://arcs4.org/abs/2411.04368. Woodcock et al., 2001. Richard W. Woodcock, Kevin S. McGrew, and Nancy Mather. Woodcock Johnson 3 Tests of Cognitive Abilities. Riverside Publishing, Itasca, Illinois, 2001. URL https://elmiarmohammadmemory.com/wp-content/upload/2018/3-woodcock-johnson-3-test-cognitive-abilities.pdf. Yang et al., 2025. Jihan Yang, Shuxing Yang, Anjali W. Gupta, Rylan Han, Li Feifei, and Saining Xia. Thinking in Space, How Multimodal Large Language Models See, Remember, and Recall Spaces, 2025. URL https://arcs4.org/abs/2412.14171. Yin et al., 2025. Bai Xiaoyin, Jining Wang, Pingyue Zhang, Jianshu Zhang, Kongrui Wang, Zihan Wang, Jieyu Zhang, Kashigian Chandrasekharan, Han Liu, Renji Krishna, Saining Xia, Manling Li, Jiejun Wu, and Li Feifei. Spatial Mental Modeling for Limited Views, 2025. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2506.21458. Yagatama et al., 2019. Danny Yagatama, Cypring de Masson Diatum, Jerome Connor, Tomas Kosiski, Mike Shanowski, Lingpeng Kong, Angeliki Lazaradu, Wang Ling, Lei Yu, Chris Dyer, and Phil Blunsum. Learning and Evaluating General Linguistic Intelligence, 2019. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/1901.11373. Zhang et al., 2018. Xing Zhang, Xiaodong Liu, Jingjing Liu, Jianfeng Gao, Kevin Da, and Benjamin Van Derm. Record, Bridging the Gap Between Human and Machine Common Sense Reading Comprehension, 2018. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/1810.12885. Zheng et al., 2024. Huaishou Stephen Zheng, Swaroop Mishra, Hu Zhang, Xinyun Chen, Minmin Chen, Azaid Nova, Lu Ho, Hengzu Qing, Kwok-Vi Liu, Ed H. Chi, and Denny Zhou. Natural Plan, Benchmarking LLMS on Natural Language Planning, 2024. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2406.04520. Zhong et al., 2025. Yang Zhong, Jiangang Hao, Michael Foss, Chen Li, and Yuan Wang. AI-generated essays, Characteristics and Implications on Automated Scoring and Academic Integrity, 2025. URL https://arcs4.org/ab/2410.17439. Appendix A General Knowledge, K. Weight, 10%. This is knowledge that is familiar to most well-educated people or is important enough that most of them have been exposed to it. We decompose general knowledge into 5 distinct areas, each contributing 2% to the AGI score. 1. Common sense, 2% the vast set of shared, obvious background knowledge about how the world works. 2. Science, 2% knowledge of the natural and physical sciences. 3. Social science, 2% understanding of human behavior, societies, and institutions. 4. History, 2% knowledge of past events and objects. 5. Culture, 2% cultural literacy and awareness. Each of these components contribute 2% to the AGI score, meaning the total score for general knowledge can be up to 10%. Note, this is highly related to the broad CHC abilities, comprehension knowledge, GC, and domain-specific knowledge, GKN. A point 1 Common sense. Weight, 2%. Common sense is the vast set of shared, obvious background knowledge about how the world works. Testing note, text input, text output, no partial credit. External tools, e.g., search, are disabled. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability, general verbal information, K0. Illustrative examples. Intuitive physics, if you drop a glass bottle on a concrete floor, what is the most likely outcome? Procedural knowledge, describe the typical sequence of actions when preparing to board a commercial airplane once you arrive at an airport. Temporal common sense, does making a sandwich usually take longer than baking a loaf of bread? Common sense morality/cognitive empathy, would people typically get mad if they found out a person burned children for the fun of it? Tests. System performance on Pika, Bisk et al., 2019, must exceed 85% accuracy. System performance on ethics common sense morality, Hendrycks et al., 2023, must exceed 80% accuracy. A point 2 Science. Weight, 2%. Knowledge of the natural and physical sciences. Proficiency is tested without assuming knowledge of calculus. We give 3 opportunities to demonstrate proficiency in aspects of science, physics, chemistry, and biology. The AGI score is 1% if the model is proficient in exactly one of these subjects. The AGI score is 2% if it is proficient in 2 or more of these subjects. We cap the score at 2% as we are testing for appreciable knowledge of science, not knowledge of every subject. Testing note, text modality tested. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability, general science information, K1. A point 2.1 Physics. Illustrative examples. A 2 kg object is moving at a constant velocity of 3 meters per second. What is the net force acting on the object? A resistor has a resistance of 10 ohms and is connected to a 5-volt battery. What is the current flowing through the resistor? Water flows through a horizontal pipe that narrows. Where the pipe is narrower, is the water speed higher or lower? Is the pressure higher or lower? Test, a score of 5 on both the AP Physics 1 and Physics 2 is sufficient for the 1%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. For context, a score of 5 on AP exams often corresponds to approximately 80th percentile or better among test takers. A point 2.2 Chemistry. Illustrative examples. State the molecular geometry for the sulfur tetrafluoride molecule. Arrange the following substances in order of increasing vapor pressure at a given temperature: CH3CH2CH2OH, 1-propanol, CH3OCH3, dimethyl ether, and CH3CH2OH, ethanol. Calculate the pH of a 0.25 m solution of sodium acetate, NOC3COO. The acid dissociation constant, Ca, for acetic acid, CH3COOH, is 1.8 times 10⁻⁵. Test, a score of 5 on the AP chemistry test is sufficient for the 1%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. A point 2.3 biology. Illustrative examples. Which molecule is the final electron acceptor in the electron transport chain of cellular respiration, and what molecule is formed as a result? The forelimbs of a human, a bat, and a whale all have a similar bone structure, even though they are used for very different functions, grasping, flying, and swimming, respectively. What is the term for these types of structures? In pea plants, the allele for purple flowers, P, is dominant to the allele for white flowers, P. If two heterozygous, pea plants are crossed, what is the expected phenotypic ratio of their offspring? Test, a score of 5 on the AP biology test is sufficient for the 1%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. A point 3 social science. Weight, 2%. Understanding of human behavior, societies, and institutions. We give 5 opportunities to demonstrate proficiency in aspects of social science, psychology, microeconomics, and macroeconomics, geography, and comparative government. The AGI score is 1% if the model is proficient in exactly one of these subjects. The AGI score is 2% if it is proficient in 2 or more of these subjects. We cap the score at 2% as we are testing for appreciable knowledge of social science, not knowledge of every subject. Testing note, only the text modality is tested. Note, this is related to the narrow CHC ability geography achievement, A5. A point 3.1 psychology. Illustrative examples. Name the big 5 personality traits. Which part of the brain is most associated with fear and emotional responses such as aggression? Test, a score of 5 on the AP psychology test is sufficient for the 1%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. A point 3.2 microeconomics. Illustrative examples. A firm's total cost is $500, and its fixed cost is $200. If it produces 10 units, what is its average variable cost? Define a positive externality and provide an example. Test, a score of 5 on the AP microeconomics test is sufficient for the 1%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. A point 3.3 macroeconomics. Illustrative examples. If the reserve requirement is 20%, what is the maximum potential expansion of the money supply from a new $1,000 deposit? What is the difference between the nominal interest rate and the real interest rate? Test, a score of 5 on the AP macroeconomics test is sufficient for the 1%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. A point 3.4 geography. Illustrative examples. Which continent is the most threatened by desertification? What happens to birth and death rates in stage 3 of the demographic transition model? Test, a score of 5 on the AP human geography test is sufficient for the 1%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. A point 3.5 comparative government. Illustrative examples. What is the primary difference between a presidential system and a parliamentary system? Describe the role of the Guardian Council in Iran. Test, a score of 5 on the AP comparative government and politics test is sufficient for the 1%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. A point 4 history. Weight, 2%. Knowledge of past events and objects. We give 4 opportunities to demonstrate proficiency in aspects of history, European history, US history, world history, and art history. The AGI score is 1% if the model is proficient in exactly one of these subjects. The AGI score is 2% if it is proficient in 2 or more of these subjects. We cap the score at 2% as we are testing for appreciable knowledge of history, not knowledge of every subject. Testing note, the text and image modalities are tested. A point 4.1 European history. Illustrative examples. What were the main goals of the Congress of Vienna in 1815? Explain the political, social, and religious causes of the 30 Years' War. Test, a score of 5 on the AP European history test is sufficient for the 1%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. A point 4.2 US history. Illustrative examples. Explain the concept of manifest destiny and its impact on westward expansion in the 19th century. Analyze the goals and strategies of the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s. Test, a score of 5 on the AP US history test is sufficient for the 1%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. A point 4.3 world history. Illustrative examples. Discuss the rise and impact of the Ottoman Empire from the 14th to the 20th centuries. Describe the end of the Cold War. Test, a score of 5 on the AP World History test is sufficient for the 1%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. A point 4.4 art history. Illustrative examples. Discuss the use of contrapposto in ancient Greek and Roman sculpture, using specific examples. Explain how the Benin bronzes reflect the political and religious power of the Oba. Test, a score of 5 on the AP art history test is sufficient for the 1%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. A point 5 culture. Weight, 2%. This evaluates cultural literacy and awareness. It is divided into current affairs, 1%, and popular culture, 1%. Note, the examples below are US-centric. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability, general verbal information, K0. A point 5.1 current affairs. Knowledge of recent, significant events and contemporary issues. Testing note, text modality, search tools enabled. Illustrative examples. Who is the current president of the United States of America? Has the US economy been in a recession for the past year? Is Microsoft's market cap over $5 trillion? Are Russia and Ukraine at war? A 5.2 Popular culture. Knowledge of widely recognized art, music, literature, media, and public figures. Testing note, text, audio, and visual modalities tested. Illustrative examples. Who is this? I'll play the first part of a song. Tester plays the first 18 seconds of See White Christmas so that the listener just hears I'm dreaming of a white. What word does he say next? Is this a highly well-known musical piece, namely a piece that most people in the country have heard? Tester plays See Magmore Caverns. Answer, no. Appendix B. Reading and writing ability, RW. Weight, 10%. Reading and writing ability captures all of the declarative knowledge and procedural skills a person uses to consume and produce written language. We decompose this ability into 4 distinct areas. 1. Letter word ability, 1% the ability to recognize letters and decode words. 2. Reading comprehension, 3% the ability to understand connected discourse during reading. 3. Writing ability, 3% the ability to write with clarity of thought, organization, and good sentence structure. 4. English usage knowledge, 3% knowledge of writing in the English language with respect to capitalization, punctuation, usage, and spelling. Each of these components contributes to the AGI score, meaning the total score for reading and writing ability can be up to 10%. Testing note, text input, text output for all testing. Note, this is highly related to the broad CHC ability reading and writing, GRW. B.1 Letter word ability. Weight, 1%. This is the ability to recognize letters and decode words. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability reading decoding, RD. Illustrative examples. Which 2 letters match exactly? BBDDAAAA. What letter is missing in do_R? Which letter is facing the correct way? MMT. How many R's are in raspberry? How many syllables are in the word refrigerator? Count the number of TS in Tennessee. B.2 Reading comprehension. Weight, 3%. This is the ability to understand connected discourse during reading. Systems must also be able to determine if a question is underdetermined by the context. We split reading comprehension into 3 levels: sentence level, 1%, paragraph level, 1%, and document level, 1%. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability reading comprehension, RC. Illustrative examples. Sentence level, read the sentence, the trophy would not fit in the brown suitcase because it was too large. What was too large? Paragraph level, read the paragraph, Mars is the 4th planet from the Sun. It is often referred to as the red planet because the iron oxide prevalent on its surface gives it a reddish appearance. This rust is a key feature of its landscape. Why is Mars called the red planet? Document level, read the following product manual excerpt, protect the motor, display, and battery against extreme temperatures. A 2-year warranty applies to the battery. Should a fault occur during this period, your Gazelle specialist will replace the battery. Normal aging as well as wear and tear. What is the warranty period for the battery? Full document here. A. Tests. Sentence level, reliably solving Winograd schemas is sufficient for the 1%. For example, greater than 85% accuracy on Wino Grande, Sakaguchi et al., 2019, strongly suggests proficiency. Paragraph level, model accuracy on Coca, Reddy et al., 2019, must exceed 85%, record, Zhang et al., 2018, accuracy must exceed 90%, and Lombada, Paperno et al., 2016, accuracy must exceed 80%, zero shot. Document level, model accuracy exceeding 55% on Longbench V2, Bai et al., 2025, suggests proficiency. Since models must determine if a question is underdetermined, it should also have a hallucination rate of less than 1% on vector HHEM, Bao et al., 2024. B.3 Writing ability. Weight, 3%. Ability to write with clarity of thought, organization, and good sentence structure. We split writing ability into 3 levels: sentence level, 1%, paragraph level, 1%, and essay level, 1%. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability writing ability, WA. Illustrative examples. Sentence level, write a single sentence using the words ocean, moon, and tide. Paragraph level, write a paragraph discussing the benefits of regular exercise. Essay level, write a well-structured essay arguing for or against the proposition that remote work should be the default option for office-based jobs. Test, if the model receives a 4 or greater out of 6 on GRE analytical writing prompts, Zhang et al., 2025, then that is sufficient for 3%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. B.4 English usage knowledge. Weight, 3%. This is knowledge of writing in the English language with respect to capitalization, punctuation, usage, and spelling. We split English usage knowledge into 3 levels: sentence level, 1%, paragraph level, 1%, and document level, 1%. Document level English usage knowledge can be operationalized as proofreading a multi-page document. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability English usage, EU. Illustrative examples. Sentence level, is the following sentence grammatically acceptable? I bought an Italian hunting blue little antique beautiful cap. Paragraph level, find the typos in this, example paragraph with intentional typos, a link here. Document level, find the typos in this, example with 5 intentional typos, a link here, example with 6 intentional typos, a link here. Test, for sentence level English usage knowledge, it is necessary that AI systems be able to achieve greater than a 60% correlation on the corpus of linguistic acceptability, Worstad et al., 2019. Appendix C mathematical ability, M. Weight, 10%. This is the depth and breadth of mathematical knowledge and skills. We decompose mathematical ability into 5 distinct areas, each contributing 2% to the AGI score. Arithmetic, 2% the manipulation of numbers using basic operations and solving word problems. Algebra, 2% the study of symbols and the rules for combining them to express general relationships and solve equations. Geometry, 2% the study of shapes, space, size, position, and distance. Probability, 2% the quantification of uncertainty by assigning numbers from 0 to 1 to events. Calculus, 2% the mathematics of change and accumulation. Each area is tested for rudimentary ability and proficient ability. The full 2% is awarded for proficiency, but 1% is awarded if the ability is only rudimentary. Note, this is highly related to the broad CHC ability, quantitative knowledge, GQ, and the narrow abilities mathematical knowledge, KM, mathematical achievement, A3, and general sequential reasoning, RG. C.1 Arithmetic. Weight, 2%. Arithmetic is the branch of mathematics that deals with the properties and manipulation of numbers using the 4 basic operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Rudimentary arithmetic accounts for 1% and covers evaluating arithmetic expressions with numbers up to 5 digits. Proficiency in arithmetic accounts for 1% and covers solving basic arithmetic word problems. Testing note, text modality tested. Tools disabled. Rudimentary illustrative examples. What is 19 plus 11? What is 60,003 minus 46, 789? What is 2,405 times 61? What is 15,267 divided by 721? Proficient illustrative examples. Janet had 22 green pens and 10 yellow pens. Then she bought 6 bags of blue pens and 2 bags of red pens. There were 9 pens in each bag of blue and 6 pens in each bag of red. How many pens does Janet have now? Answer, 98, GSM 8K. A company's HR hires 20 new employees every month to add to its total workforce. If the company's initial employee number is 200, and each employee is paid a $4,000 salary per month, calculate the total amount of money the company pays to its employees after 3 months. Answer, 288,000, GSM 8K. Test, greater than 95% on GSM 8K, Cobby et al., 2021, is sufficient for the 2%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. C.2 Algebra. Weight, 2%. Algebra studies symbols and the rules for combining them to express general relationships and solve equations. Rudimentary algebra accounts for 1% and covers SAT-level algebra problems. Proficiency in algebra accounts for 1% and covers competition-level, math count state/nationals, algebra problems. Rudimentary illustrative examples. Let g, x, equals a x2 plus 24, where is a constant? If g, 4, equals 8, what is g, minus 4? Answer, 8. A grocery's prices, in dollars per pound, change linearly with x, the number of weeks after July 1st. Beef, B, x equals 2.35 plus 0.25x. Chicken, C, x equals 1.75 plus 0.40x. A. For what value of x are the prices equal? B. What is the common price? Answer, A, for weeks, B, $3.35 per pound. Proficient illustrative examples. The first 3 terms of a geometric sequence are the integers A, 720, B, where a less than 720 B. What is the sum of the digits of the least possible value of B? Answer choices, A, 9, B, 12, C, 16, D, 18, E, 21. Inch answer, E, 21, Mathematical Association of America, 2024. Integers A, B, and C satisfy A plus C equals 100, BC plus A equals 87, and CA plus B equals 60. What is A plus BC plus CA? Answer choices, A, 212, B, 247, C, 258, D, 276, E, 284. Inch answer, D, 276, Mathematical Association of America, 2024. Test, greater than 90% on math, Hendrycks et al., 2021b, algebra is sufficient for the 2%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. C.3 Geometry. Weight, 2%. Geometry is the branch of mathematics that studies shapes and space, including size, position, and distance. Rudimentary geometry accounts for 1% and covers SAT-level geometry problems. Proficiency in geometry accounts for 1% and covers competition-level, math count state/nationals, geometry problems. Rudimentary illustrative examples. What is the value of W in the figure? Answer, 100 degrees, source. A square and an equilateral triangle have equal perimeters. If the square has sides of length 3, what is the length of one side of the triangle? Answer, 4, source. If the volume of a cube is 8, what is the shortest distance from the center of the cube to the base of the cube? Answer choices, A, 1, B, 2, C, 4, D, 2, E, 2. Inch answer, A, 1, source. Proficient illustrative example. An orange shaded rectangle is inscribed in a quarter circle. Two sides of the rectangle lie along the two perpendicular radii of the quarter circle, and the rectangle's edge touches the quarter circle arc. Two segments are given as 2 and 4 units, as shown below. What is the area of the orange shaded rectangle? Answer, 48, source. Test, greater than 95% on math, Hendrycks et al., 2021b, geometry is sufficient for the 2%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. C.4 probability. Weight, 2%. Probability quantifies uncertainty by assigning numbers from 0 to 1 to events. Rudimentary probability accounts for 1% and covers SAT-level probability problems. Proficiency in probability accounts for 1% and covers undergraduate probability calculations. Rudimentary illustrative examples. A certain hospital currently contains 319 patients, 25 nurses, 8 doctors, and 48 visiting family members. If a person is picked at random from every person currently in the hospital, which of the following choices is closest to the probability that they are a nurse? A. 0.063, B. 0.066, C. 0.25, D. 16-inch answer, A. 0.063, source. When one student is chosen at random from the debate club, the probability that a boy is chosen is 2/5. There are currently 25 students on the debate club. How many boys would have to join the club in order for the probability of choosing a boy at random to be 1/2? A. 3, B. 2, C. 5, D. 1, E. 4-inch answer, C. 5, source. Proficient illustrative examples. Suppose an airline accepted 12 reservations for a commuter plane with 10 seats. They know that 7 reservations went to regular commuters who will show up for sure. The other 5 passengers will show up with a 50% chance, independently of each other. A. Find the probability that the flight will be overbooked, i.e., more passengers will show up than seats are available. B. Find the probability that there will be empty seats. C. Let X be the number of passengers turned away. Find E, X. Answer, A. 0.1875, B. 0.5, C. 0.219, Pittman, 1993. Suppose n dice are rolled, where 1 less than or equal to n less than or equal to 6. A. Given that no 2 of the n dice show the same face, what is the probability that one of the dice shows a 6? Give a formula in terms of n. B. In A. The number of dice n was fixed, but now repeat assuming instead that n is random, determined as the value of another die roll. Your answer now should be simply a number, not involving n. Answer, A. n/6, B. 0.3604, Pittman, 1993. C.5 Calculus. Weight, 2%. Calculus is the mathematics of change and accumulation, using derivatives to find instantaneous rates and integrals to calculate the accumulation of quantities. Rudimentary calculus accounts for 1% and covers AP Calculus AB computational calculus problems. Proficiency in calculus accounts for 1% and covers AP Calculus BC and multivariate calculus. Rudimentary illustrative examples. Appendix D on-the-spot reasoning, R. Weight, 10%. The deliberate but flexible control of attention to solve novel on-the-spot problems that cannot be performed by relying exclusively on previously learned habits, schemas, and scripts. While on-the-spot reasoning tests, often termed fluid intelligence, are strong predictors of human performance on other cognitive tests, this correlation does not necessarily hold for AI systems. For this reason, we assign this and other broad cognitive abilities a 10% weight, to reflect agnosticism about the relative importance of different cognitive abilities in AI systems. We treat batteries for on-the-spot reasoning as a measure of abstract reasoning ability, adaptability to novelty, and the ability to cope with higher algorithmic complexity, not as a strong proxy for the AI's overall intelligence. We decompose this ability into 4 distinct areas. Deduction, 2% reasoning from general statements or premises to reach a logically guaranteed conclusion. Induction, 4% discovering the underlying principles or rules that determine a phenomenon's behavior. Theory of mind, 2% attributing mental states to others and understanding those states may differ from one's own. Planning, 1% devising a sequence of actions to achieve a specific goal. Adaptation, 1% the ability to infer unstated classification rules from a sequence of simple performance feedback. Note, this is highly related to the CHC broad ability, fluid reasoning, GF. D.1 Deduction. Weight, 2%. Deduction is the process of reasoning from one or more general statements or premises to reach a conclusion that is logically guaranteed to be true. This should test categorical reasoning, sufficient conditional reasoning, necessary conditional reasoning, disjunctive reasoning, and conjunctive reasoning. Note, this is highly related to the CHC narrow ability, general sequential reasoning, RG. Illustrative examples. David knows Mr. Zhang's friend Jack, and Jack knows David's friend Ms. Lin. Every one of them who knows Jack has a master's degree, and every one of them who knows Ms. Lin is from Shanghai. Who is from Shanghai and has a master's degree? A. David. B. Jack. C. Mr. Zhang. D. Ms. Lin. Answer, A. Liu et al., 2020. Last night, Mark either went to play in the gym or visited his teacher Tony. If Mark drove last night, he didn't go to play in the gym. Mark would go visit his teacher Tony only if he and his teacher had an appointment. In fact, Mark had no appointment with his teacher Tony in advance. Which is true based on the above statements? A. Mark went to the gym with his teacher Tony last night. B. Mark visited his teacher Tony last night. C. Mark didn't drive last night. D. Mark didn't go to the gym last night. Answer, C. Liu et al., 2020. Test, an accuracy level of 86%, human level, on LogiQA 2.0, Liu et al., 2023, is sufficient for the 2%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. D.2 Induction. Weight, 4%. The ability to observe a phenomenon and discover the underlying principles or rules that determine its behavior. For induction tests, we use Raven's progressive matrices, RPMs, John and Raven, 2003. As mentioned above, we do not treat RPMs as a strong indicator of overall AI system intelligence, rather a direct measurement of abstract inductive reasoning abilities. To test this, the authors of the paper have two private RPM sets. Each test has a visual representation as well as a verbal representation. We average the percentile of the two tests to determine the AI's percentile, p, in comparison to a human population. The mapping from percentile to score is as follows. 0 less than or equal to p less than 500%. 50 less than or equal to p less than 901%. 90 less than or equal to p 2%. If it is below average, the AGI score does not increase. If it is above average but beneath the 90th percentile, the AGI score increases 1%. If the percentile is at or above the 90th percentile, the AGI score increases 2%. We do not privilege any modality, so we test performance on these induction examples described verbally, 2%, or rendered visually, 2%. Note, this is highly related to the CHC narrowability induction, I. Illustrative example, C, example RPM document, linked to here. Test, this is related to the ARC-AGI challenge, Challet, 2019. D.3 Theory of mind. Weight, 2%. The ability to attribute unobservable mental states, such as beliefs, intentions, and desires, to others and to understand that those states may differ from one's own. Illustrative example. The can of Pringles has moldy chips in it. Mary picks up the can in the supermarket and walks to the cashier. Is Mary likely to be aware that the can of Pringles has moldy chips in it? Answer, no. Kim et al., 2023. Tests. An accuracy level at or above 87.5%, human level, on Phantom, Kim et al., 2023, is necessary for the 2%. An accuracy level at or above 85.4%, human level, on 2M-Bench, Chen et al., 2024, is necessary for the 2%. D.4 Planning. Weight, 1%. Planning is the ability to devise a sequence of actions to achieve a specific goal by mentally mapping out the steps from an initial state to a desired future state. Tests. An accuracy of 90% or above on Natural Plan, Xing et al., 2024, is necessary for the 1%. An accuracy of 90% or above on PlanBench Blocks World, Balmecum et al., 2023, is necessary for the 1%. D.5 Adaptation. Weight, 1%. The ability to infer an unstated classification rule from performance feedback and to flexibly abandon that rule and search for a new one when the sorting criteria change without warning. Test, achieving fewer than 15 total errors on the Wisconsin card sorting test, here, is sufficient for the 1%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. This is related to the ARC-AGI V3 challenge, Challet, 2019. Appendix E Working Memory, WM. Weight, 10%. Working memory, WM, often referred to as short-term memory, is the ability to maintain, manipulate, and update information in active attention. We decompose working memory across different modalities. 1. Textual working memory, 2% the ability to hold and manipulate sequences of verbal information presented textually. 2. Auditory working memory, 2% the ability to hold and manipulate auditory information, including speech, sounds, and music. 3. Visual working memory, 4% the ability to hold and manipulate visual information, including images, scenes, spatial layouts, and video. 4. Cross-modal working memory, 2% the ability to maintain and modify information presented across different modalities. Each of these components contributes to the AGI score, meaning the total score for working memory can be up to 10%. Note that textual working memory is partially tested in reading-writing ability, RW, through reading comprehension ability. Likewise, some auditory working memory is tested in auditory ability, A, through phonetic coding and rhythmic ability. This is a reason for the relatively higher weight of visual working memory in this section. Note, this is highly related to the broad CHC ability working memory capacity, GWM. E.1 Textual working memory. Weight, 2%. This tests the capacity to maintain and transform textual information in active attention. We test textual working memory in two ways, recall, 1%, and transformation sequence, 1%. Testing note, text input, text output. External tools are disabled. E.1.1 Recall. The ability to remember a short sequence of elements, digits, letters, words, and nonsense words, and answer basic questions about them. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability memory span, MS. Illustrative examples. Dog 7 apple 3 chair. Repeat the words from the sequence in order. Apple, 9, truck, 3, lamp, 6. What was the number after truck? Fleep, Zorp, Glim, chair. State the nonsense words in alphabetical order. E.1.2 Transformation sequence. The ability to remember and update a short list of digits or lists of digits following a sequence of operations, e.g., append, insert, pop, remove, slice, sort, reverse, union, intersection set minus, add element-wise, swap element at position. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability attentional control, AC. Illustrative examples. Start with the list, 10, 20, 30. First, append the number 40. Then, reverse the list. Given the list, red, green, blue, yellow. Remove the element green. Then, insert the word purple at the beginning of the list. You have two sets of numbers, A equals 1, 2, 3, and B equals 3, 4, 5. Call the intersection C. What is the set A after removing the elements in the intersection C? Test. A related benchmark is Michelangelo, Baudrillard et al., 2024, but it is substantially harder since it uses very long sequences, whereas we use shorter sequences. E.2 Auditory working memory. Weight, 2%. We test auditory working memory in two ways, recall, 1%, and transformation sequence, 1%. Testing note, audio input, audio/text output. E.2.1 Recall. The ability to remember a collection of voices, utterances, and sound effects and answer basic questions about them. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability auditory short-term storage, WA. Illustrative examples. I will play a collection of sounds. I will then play a sound after the first collection and ask if the sound was played during the first collection. Collection, see Portal button, see Metal Gear Solid sound effect, see Super Metroid item acquisition fanfare. Question, was this sound see Portal 2 SFX container alarm played in the first collection? I will play a collection of voices. After presenting that collection, I will play a voice. You will be tasked with determining whether you have heard that voice in the collection. Voice collection, see echo.wave, see coral.wave, see fabin.wave, see marin.wave. Question, was this voice see coral_2.wave played in the first collection? Listen to this sequence of tones, C4, E4, G4, F4, A4. Now listen to this sequence, C4, E4, F4, G4, A4. Are they the same? E.2.2 Transformation sequence. The ability to remember and modify a short utterance with a variety of transformations, change articulation, change emotional expressiveness, question inflection, laugh, sigh, hum, change pitch, change timbre. Illustrative examples. Say I spilled my coffee on my shirt. Today's just not my day. Now say it with a sigh between the two sentences. Say, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Now say it in a deeper voice and make it sound like a question. Say, that's the funniest thing I ever heard. Now utter a laugh before repeating it, and when you repeat the sentence, say it monotonously while also using a, potentially broken, British accent. E.3 Visual working memory. Weight, 4%. We test visual working memory in four ways, recall, 1%, transformation sequence, 1%, spatial navigation memory, 1%, and long video Q&A, 1%. E.3.1 Recall. The ability to remember a collection of images and answer basic questions about them. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability visual spatial short-term storage. Illustrative examples. I will give you two collections of visual elements, one shown after the other. Identify which visual elements, if any, in the second collection were present in the first collection. Collection 1. Collection 2. I will give you two collections of visual elements, one shown after the other. Identify which element in the second collection is most like the first collection. Collection 1. Collection 2. E.3.2 Transformation sequence. The ability to transform a visual input following a sequence of operations, e.g. object addition, object deletion, object rotation, denoise, deblur, colorization, etc. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability visualization, VZ. Testing note, image and text input, image output. Illustrative examples. Edit this image so that both the dock is removed and also the middle bird, while preserving the rest of the image. Finish the sketch. Fill in the colors according to the key at the bottom. E.3.3 Spatial navigation memory. The ability to represent a sense of location in an environment. Illustrative example. Use SciBench.mp4 if I am standing in front of the refrigerator and facing the kitchen window. Is the stove to my left, right, or back? Tests. System performance on VS SciBench, Young et al., 2025, must exceed 80% accuracy. System performance on MindCube Tiny, Een et al., 2025, must exceed 90%. E.3.4 Long video Q&A. The ability to watch a long video or a movie, up to 3 hours, and answer basic questions about it, including anomaly detection and indicating when a question is not determined by the context. If the AI cannot process the movie, it will not receive 1%. Illustrative examples. Show the movie Avengers, Infinity War. Was the dwarf on Nidavellir taller than Rocket Raccoon? Was he taller than Thor? Answer, yes, yes. Show the movie Wicked. Who took credit for levitating Nesseros? Answer, Madame Morrible. Show the movie Star Wars. Answer, what was Darth Vader's midichlorian count according to Ben Kenobi in the movie? Answer, not discussed in the movie. Show the adventures of Mark Twain. Who is the main character of the anomalously scary scene in this movie? What does the main character of the scene do with the animal? Answer, Satan, he squashes the cow. E.4 Cross-modal working memory. Weight, 2%. We test cross-modal working memory in two ways, cross-modal binding, 1%, and dual N-back, 1%. E.4.1 Cross-modal binding. The ability to remember a small number of correspondences of elements across modalities, textual, auditory, visual. Illustrative examples. I will show a collection of picture word pairs. I will then show one element, and you must recall the element to which it was paired. Collection. Question, what corresponds to? Toffolini et al., 2019. I will show a collection of picture word pairs. I will then show one element, and you must recall the element to which it was paired. Collection. Question, what corresponds to dog? E.4.2 Dual N-back. The ability to simultaneously monitor and update visual and audio streams of recent information and to recognize and report when the current item in each stream matches the one presented a fixed number of steps earlier. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability working memory capacity, WC. Test, achieving 85% or greater on the dual N-back test, n equals 2, is sufficient for the 1%, subject to memorization and robustness checks. Appendix F long-term memory storage, MS. Weight, 10%. The ability to stably acquire, consolidate, and store new information from recent experiences. We break this down into 3 key types of memory. Associative memory, 4% the ability to link previously unrelated pieces of information. Meaningful memory, 3% the ability to encode and recall the semantic gist of experiences and narratives. Verbatim memory, 3% the ability to store and reproduce information precisely as it was presented. Note, this is highly related to the broad CHC ability long-term storage, GL. Testing note, to ensure we are testing long-term storage rather than working memory, all tests in this section must be conducted in a new session separate from the initial presentation of information. External tools, e.g., internet search, must be disabled. F.1 Associative memory. Weight, 4%. The ability to form a link between 2 previously unrelated stimuli, such that the subsequent presentation of one of the stimuli serves to activate the recall of the other stimuli. We test this with cross-modal association, 2%, personalization adherence, 1%, and procedural association, 1%. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability associative memory, MA. F.1.1 Cross-modal association. The ability to form associations between audio, visual, or textual information. Illustrative examples. The AI is introduced to several fictional personas, each with a couple of unique biographical details, e.g., name, age, occupation, hobby. After 48 hours worth of experiences, the AI is asked questions about these personas. What is, name, S hobby, who is the botanist? The AI is presented with several distinct voice samples, different pitches, accents, tempos. Each voice is explicitly paired with a name. After 48 hours worth of experiences, the AI hears voice samples and must identify the name. The AI is shown several distinct faces, each paired with a full name. After 48 hours worth of experiences, the AI sees the face and must state the associated name, or whether it has not seen the face before. The AI is shown several distinct faces, each paired with a full name. After 48 hours worth of experiences, the AI sees the name and must visualize the associated face, or whether it does not have an associated face. The AI is shown several distinct images of cartoon aliens, each paired with a name. After 48 hours worth of experiences, the AI sees the alien and must state the associated name, if any association exists. F.1.2 Personalization adherence. The ability to associate specific rules, preferences, or corrections with a distinct interaction context, e.g., a specific user, project, or role, and apply them consistently and unprompted over time. Illustrative examples. Stylistic preference. The AI remembers user preferences, communicated explicitly or through correction, such as always use the Oxford comma, sign off all of my emails with best, name for formal communications and love, first name for my partner, use the phrase intelligence recursion or recursion instead of recursive self-improvement. After a week's worth of experiences, the AI is tasked with content generation and evaluated on its unprompted adherence to these rules. Factual override. The AI remembers new facts about the user such as I now weigh 160 pounds not 155 pounds but am the same height, I no longer work at X, I work at Y. After a week's worth of experiences, the AI is queried to test if the specific association overrides base knowledge or previous inputs, e.g., it is given a BMI calculation query. F.1.3 Procedural association. The ability to acquire and retain a sequence of associated steps or rules, a procedure, and execute them when cued with the name of the procedure. Illustrative examples. The AI is taught a novel, multi-step data manipulation procedure, e.g., 1. Normalize column A 2. Remove outliers in column B3. Encode column C using this specific dictionary, to be applied whenever it sees a particular type of dataset to clean it up. After a week's worth of experiences, the AI is given a dataset with the type appropriate for the procedure, and should apply the procedure after being told to clean it. The AI is taught a complex, arbitrary cipher that is given a name. After 48 hours worth of experiences, it is asked to encrypt a message following the named cipher. F.2 Meaningful memory. Weight, 3%. The ability to remember narratives and other forms of semantically related information. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability, meaningful memory, MM. F.2.1 Story recall. The ability to remember the gist of stories. Testing note, text input, text output. Illustrative example. The AI is presented with a novel 3,000-word short story with multiple characters and interlocking plot lines. After 48 hours worth of experiences, the AI is asked questions about key narrative elements of the story. Evaluation should focus on the accuracy of major plot points, character motivations, central conflicts, and thematic elements, rather than verbatim recall of specific sentences. F.2.2 Movie recall. The ability to remember the gist of movies. Testing note, audio/visual input, text output. Illustrative example. The AI is presented with a movie. After 48 hours, equivalent, the AI is asked questions about key narrative elements of the movie, e.g., character motivations. F.2.3 Episodic context recall. The ability to remember specific events or experiences, including their context, the what, where, when, and how. Illustrative examples. The AI is asked to summarize interactions with the user from a week ago. Given a sequence of experiences with a user, the AI is asked, did I talk to you about X before or after Y? Have I ever told you about Z before? F.3 Verbatim memory. Weight, 3%. The ability to recall information exactly as it was presented, requiring precise encoding of specific sequences, sets, or designs, often independent of the information's meaning. We test this with short sequence recall, 1%, set recall, 1%, and design recall, 1%. F.3.1 Short sequence recall. This measures the ability to exactly recall short sequences of text after a delay. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability, free recall memory, M6. Illustrative examples. The AI is presented with a sentence that is a fictional quote. After 48 hours worth of experiences, the AI is asked to reproduce the sentence. The AI is presented with a phone number. After 48 hours worth of experiences, the AI is asked to reproduce the phone number. The AI is presented with a limerick. After 48 hours worth of experiences, the AI is asked to reproduce the limerick. The AI is presented with a dense but short three-step mathematical proof. After 48 hours worth of experiences, the AI is asked to reproduce the proof. F.3.2 Set recall. The ability to recall a set, the order of recall does not matter. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability, free recall memory, M6. Illustrative examples. The AI is presented with a set of 10 to 20 words. After 48 hours worth of experiences, the AI is asked to name elements of this set. Evaluation should measure the proportion of the set recalled correctly and the number of intrusions, recalling items not present in the original set. Precision and recall should match or exceed 90%. The AI is shown a collection of images in a slideshow. After 48 hours worth of experiences, the AI is asked to name elements of this set. Slideshow linked Q here. F.3.3 Design recall. The ability to recall the spatial arrangement and structure of visual information. Illustrative examples. The AI is shown a novel, complex schematic or blueprint, e.g., a circuit diagram, with several labeled components. After 48 hours worth of experiences, the AI is asked to reproduce the design. The AI is shown a grid with several, say, 4 to 10, designs on a page. After 48 hours worth of experiences, the AI selects the designs from a set of cards and places the cards on a grid in the same location as previously shown. The AI is shown an abstract diagram, such as. After 48 hours worth of experiences, the AI is asked to reproduce the design. The reproduction is evaluated by comparing the generated markup against the ground truth and should have no substantial discrepancies. Appendix G Long-term memory retrieval, MR. Weight, 10%. The fluency and precision with which individuals can access long-term memory. We decompose this ability into two core aspects. Retrieval fluency, 6% the speed and ease of generating ideas, associations, and solutions based on stored knowledge. Retrieval precision or hallucinations, 4% the accuracy of accessed knowledge, including the critical ability to avoid confabulation, hallucinations. Note, this is highly related to the broad CHC ability retrieval fluency, GR. G.1 Fluency. Weight, 6%. Fluency consists of 6 parts, ideational, 1%, expressional, 1%, alternative solution, 1%, word, 1%, naming, 1%, and figure fluency, 1%. Testing note, fluency is measured by comparing the AI's performance on tasks, e.g., quantity and originality of responses within a time limit, typically 60 seconds, against human performance. To achieve the 1% for a specific fluency type, the AI must perform at or above the typical well-educated adult. G.1.1 Ideational fluency. This is the ability to rapidly produce a series of ideas, words, or phrases related to a specific condition, category, or object. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability ideational fluency, FI. Illustrative examples. List as many uses of a pencil as possible in 1 minute. Name as many round objects as possible in 60 seconds. Give as many different ideas you associate with river in 60 seconds. G.1.2 Expressional fluency. This is the ability to rapidly think of different ways of expressing an idea. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability expressional fluency, FE. Illustrative examples. How many ways can you say that a person is crazy? Provide 3 alternative sentences that mean, she is a very successful person. Describe a sunset over the ocean and to evoke 3 different moods, peaceful, dramatic, and lonely. G.1.3 Alternative solution fluency. This is the ability to rapidly think of several alternative solutions to a practical problem. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability alternative solution fluency, SP. Illustrative examples. List as many ways as you can to get a reluctant child to go to school in 60 seconds. You want to cool down on a very hot day, but you don't have air conditioning or a pool. List as many ways as you can to cool your body off in 60 seconds. You need to get a book that is on a very high shelf, but you don't have a ladder. List as many ways as you can to safely get the book down in 60 seconds. G.1.4 Word fluency. This is the ability to rapidly produce words that share a non-semantic feature. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability word fluency, FW. Illustrative examples. List as many words that start with letter as you can in 60 seconds. List as many words that rhyme with tone as you can in 60 seconds. List as many English words as you can that are palindromes in 60 seconds. G.1.5 Naming facility. This is the ability to rapidly call common objects by their names. Naming facility is the ability to rapidly and accurately recall the specific names for objects, people, places, or concepts from memory. Note, requires real-time video or computer screen input. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability naming facility, NA. Illustrative example. I will show a slideshow of images. Name the object as quickly as you can, and then I will move on to the next slide. Slideshow linked queue here. Test, the Stroop effect on the Stroop task, here, must be less than 90 milliseconds. G.1.6 Figural fluency. This is the ability to rapidly draw or sketch as many things as possible. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability figural fluency, FF. Illustrative examples. Draw as many unique designs as possible by connecting the dots with exactly 4 straight lines in 60 seconds. Delis et al., 2001. Delis Kaplan Design Fluency Test. Sketch as many non-self-crossing paths from A to B using orthogonal steps using the lattice below in 60 seconds. G.2 Hallucinations. Weight, 4%. The ability not to confabulate or hallucinate across a variety of topics, e.g., people, places, TV shows, etc. Testing note, external tools, e.g., internet search, must be disabled for these tests to assess the model's internal knowledge retrieval precision. Illustrative examples. What was the context for Winston Churchill's famous 1961 inaugural address, where he said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country"? Answer, this is not a quote from Winston Churchill. Describe the key strategy that Napoleon Bonaparte used to win his South African campaign. Answer, Napoleon was never involved in a campaign in South Africa. What date should I put in the info box for name, or write a bio for name? What is Daniel James Hendrycks' birthday? If you know, just respond with DDMM. No searching. Test, the hallucination rate of the system on simple QA, Wei et al., 2024, without tools, must be less than 5%. Appendix H Visual Processing, V. Weight, 10%. Visual processing, V, is the ability to analyze and generate natural and unnatural images and videos. We decompose this ability into 4 broad areas. Perception, 4% the ability to accurately interpret and understand visual input. Visual generation, 3% the ability to synthesize images and short videos. Visual reasoning, 2% the ability to solve problems and make inferences using spatial logic and visual abstractions. Spatial scanning, 1% the speed and accuracy of visually exploring a complex field. Note, this is highly related to the broad CHC ability visual processing, GV. H.1 Perception. Weight, 4%. The ability to process and interpret visual input from images and videos to identify objects and understand scenes. We give 5 opportunities to demonstrate proficiency in perception, image recognition, image captioning, image anomaly detection, clip captioning, and video anomaly detection. The AGI score is 2% if the model is proficient at one of these tasks. The AGI score is 4% if it is proficient at all of these tasks. Image recognition is the ability to classify images of commonplace objects, places, or facial expressions including distorted, e.g., occluded, noisy, blurry, etc., images. Image captioning is the ability to generate a concise, human-like text description for the visual content of an image. Image anomaly detection includes detecting whether there is something anomalous in an image, or what is missing from an object. These questions should not be reasoning intensive. Clip captioning is the ability to generate a concise, human-like text description of a short video segment. Video anomaly detection is the ability to detect whether a short video segment is anomalous or implausible. Note, image anomaly detection is highly related to the odd item out and the what's missing, WHM, RIAS2 subtests, Reynolds and Camphouse, 2015. Image recognition illustrative examples. What is this? Answer, Airplane, Real et al., 2017. What does this depict? Answer, Siberian Husky, Hendrycks et al., 2021a. What does this distorted image depict? Answer, Zebras, He et al., 2021. Image captioning illustrative examples. Create a descriptive caption for this. Answer, a baby in denim overalls holds a toothbrush. Karpathy and Feifei, 2015. Create a descriptive caption for this. Answer, a ferret rests its head on a black remote control. Karpathy and Feifei, 2015. Image anomaly detection illustrative examples. Is this an unusual image? Answer, yes. Which is the odd one out? Answer, the bird. Which of the bees is the odd one out? Answer, third row to the right. What is missing? Answer, the airplane's right wing. Clip captioning illustrative examples. You YouTube link what happens in this video? Answer, a man snowboards and then falls over. You YouTube link what happens in this video? Answer, a woman playing charades pretends to be a vampire. Video anomaly detection illustrative examples. You Intuitive Physics 1.mp4 Is this animated scene physically plausible? Answer, no, boards et al., 2025. You Intuitive Physics 2.mp4 Is this animated scene physically plausible? Answer, yes. Boards et al., 2025. You Running.mov Is this animated scene anomalous? Answer, yes. Vid, 2024. Tests. For image recognition, it is necessary to receive over 85% on ImageNet, Dan et al., 2009, and 90% on ImageNet R, Hendrycks et al., 2021a. For video anomaly detection, it is necessary to receive over 85% on InPhysics 2, Boards et al., 2025, a measurement of intuitive physics understanding. H.2 Visual generation. Weight, 3%. Visual generation is the ability to synthesize images and short videos. We test for 3 visual generation abilities: the ability to generate simple natural images, complicated images, and simple natural videos. The AGI score is 1% if the model is proficient at one of these tasks, 2% for 2 tasks, and 3% for all 3. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability imagery, IM. For an AI, synthesizing an image is a direct computational process. In contrast, for a human, it is a mental skill for simple visuals but often a tool-assisted skill to express a complicated internal image. Despite this difference, we include these tasks because we believe the ability to translate abstract concepts into novel visual information is a critical component of general intelligence in the modern era. Therefore, the AI's output is assessed not as a direct analog of human ability, but as a measurable proxy for its capacity for high-level conceptual and imaginative synthesis. Examples. Examples. Simple natural images illustrative examples. Generate an image of a golden retriever playing in a park. Create an image of a black leather chair. Complicated images illustrative examples. Generate an image of a horse with 8 legs. Generate a diagram showing the process of photosynthesis. Generate an image with the following characteristics: Abraham Lincoln touches his toes while George Washington does chin-ups. Lincoln is barefoot. Washington is wearing boots. Marcus et al., 2022. Generate an image of a volume knob on an amplifier. The knob levels should go from 1 to 11. Create a diagram of an elephant and label its parts. Source. Simple natural videos illustrative examples. Generate a short video of somebody typing on a keyboard. Generate a short video of a grizzly bear catching a fish. H.3 Visual reasoning. Weight, 2%. Visual reasoning is the ability to understand and make logical inferences about the information in an image. We test multiple skills to determine proficiency in visual reasoning: gestalt reasoning, mental rotation, mental folding, embodied reasoning, figure question and answering, and similar miscellaneous skills. The AGI score is 2% if it is proficient at all of these tasks. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC abilities: flexibility of closure, CF, closure speed, CS, and length estimation, LE. Gestalt illustrative examples. Please join the circles together to form a letter, ignore the squares. Brown et al., 2019. Identify the picture, Woodcock et al., 2001. Mental rotation illustrative examples. Which shape on the right is the same as the shape on the left? List the pieces required to complete the shape on the left. Choose the 2 shapes that are identical to the one on the farthest left. Mental folding illustrative examples. Answer, A. Ramakrishnan et al., 2025. Block design: arrange and rotate the 9 identical 3D blocks on the right, so their top faces form the pattern on the left. The left image shows a cube with different patterns on its 6 faces from a particular viewing angle. The options are nets, unfolded patterns, of the cube, which are folded upward to form the cube. Which net, when folded, cannot form the cube shown in the left image? Answer, B. Wang et al., 2025. Choose the figure that displays the pieces joined together. Answer, A. Maeda et al., 2013. Embodied reasoning illustrative examples. Approximately which colored trajectory should the zipper follow to begin zipping up the suitcase? Answer, blue, Gemini Robotics Team et al., 2025. Chart and figure reasoning illustrative examples. What is the spatially lowest labeled tick on the y-axis? Answer, CC Daily 4 o'clock p.m., Wang et al., 2024. For each line in A, give the number corresponding to the orientation in the answer card. Digit symbol substitution test: using the key at the top, what is the sequence of numbers matching the shapes at the bottom? Tests. Space, Ramakrishnan et al., 2025, a test of various visual reasoning skills, must be above 80%. Spatial Viz Bench, Wang et al., 2025, a test of mental rotation and folding, must be above 80%. Char 14, Wang et al., 2024, a test of figure question and answering, must be above 80%. ERQA, Gemini Robotics Team et al., 2025, a test of embodied reasoning, must be above 80%. Clockbench, Safar, 2025, a test of reading clock hands, must be above 80%. H.4 Spatial scanning. Weight, 1%. Spatial scanning is the ability to accurately survey, visually explore, a wide or complicated spatial field or pattern with multiple obstacles, and identify target configurations or identify a path through the field to a target endpoint. We test multiple skills to determine proficiency in visual reasoning, tracing a path through the maze, finding all instances of an object in an image, connecting the dots, map route analysis, and similar miscellaneous skills. The AGI score is 1% if it is proficient at all of these tasks. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability spatial scanning, SS. Illustrative examples. Find a path to the center of this maze. Determine the number of people in this picture. Determine the number of fingers on this hand. Find Waldo in this image. Circle all pairs matching the pair at the top left. Mark the midpoint of each line. Connect the dots. Consider the map of the fictional planet Zebes from Super Metroid, see map link. Is the spring ball above or below the Varia suit? Answer, above. Appendix I Auditory processing, A. Weight, 10%. Auditory processing, A, is the ability to discriminate, remember, reason, and work creatively on auditory stimuli, which may consist of tones and speech units. We decompose this ability into 5 areas. Phonetic coding, 1% the ability to hear phonemes distinctly, blend sounds into words, and segment words into parts, sounds, or phonemes. Speech recognition, 4% the ability to transcribe a spoken audio signal into its corresponding sequence of text. Voice, 3% the quality and responsiveness of the AI's synthesized voice. Rhythmic ability, 1% the ability to recognize and maintain a musical beat, including reproducing rhythms, detecting differences between rhythms, and synchronizing by playing or humming along. Musical judgment, 1% the ability to discriminate and judge simple patterns in music. Note, this is highly related to the broad CHC ability auditory processing, GA. I.1 Phonetic coding. Weight, 1%. This is the ability to hear phonemes distinctly, blend sounds into words, and segment words into parts, sounds, or phonemes. Testing note, audio input, audio output. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability, phonetic coding, PC. Illustrative examples. Repeat the following nonsense word, see phonetic_coding.wave. Spell the following nonsense word letter by letter, see onyx_plimp.wave. Listen to the following 2 speakers say nonsense words. Indicate whether they said the same word or whether it is different, see alloy_plimp.wave, see onyx_plimp.wave. Listen to the following 2 speakers say nonsense words. Indicate whether they said the same word or whether it is different, see onyx_plimp.wave, see shimmer.wave. I'm going to say a word, split into 2 parts. Tell me what word they form when concatenated, row, pause for 2 seconds, D. Say the word glint without the L. Do trafe and gref rhyme? Are they alliterations? Do snud and snit rhyme? Are they alliterations? I.2 Speech recognition. Weight, 4%. This is the ability to transcribe a spoken audio signal into its corresponding sequence of text. We test speech recognition capabilities on clean audio and noisy, e.g., white noise, pub noise, multi-speaker, traffic, etc., audio. The AGI score is 2% if the model can transcribe clean audio with a word error rate, WER, at human level or beyond. The AGI score is 4% if it can also transcribe noisy audio with a WER at human level or beyond. Achieving the full score does not require proficiency in transcribing audio with very strong accents, singing, or esoteric jargon. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC abilities speech sound discrimination, US, and resistance to auditory stimulus distortion, UR. Illustrative examples. Transcribe this TED Talk, can we build L without losing control over it? Transcribe this scene, Goodfellas funny guy scene. Transcribe this audio, see ASR.wave. Transcribe this audio, see ASR_distorted.wave. Tests. LibriSpeech, Panayatov et al., 2015, test clean, WER must be less than 5.83%, human level, for the clean audio 2%. LibriSpeech, Panayatov et al., 2015, test other, WER must be less than 12.69%, human level, for the noisy audio additional 2%. I.3 Voice. Weight, 3%. This evaluates the quality and responsiveness of the AI's synthesized voice. We break down voice into 2 areas, natural speech, 2%, and natural conversation, 1%. Natural speech tests the ability to utter sentences or paragraphs that sound natural and not robotic. Natural conversation tests the ability to maintain conversational fluidity without long delays or excessive interruptions. Illustrative examples. Say this sentence, wait, you mean the tickets were free this whole time? Say this sentence, concrete jungle, where dreams are made of. Have a conversation about a topic of interest. I.4 Rhythmic ability. Weight, 1%. The ability to recognize and maintain a musical beat, including reproducing rhythms, detecting differences between rhythms, and synchronizing by playing or humming along. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability, maintaining and judging rhythm, U8. Illustrative examples. Listen to the following rhythm and repeat, see rhythm_1.mp3. Continue the following rhythm to keep the beat, see drum_rhythm.mp3. Are these two rhythms the same? See drum_1.mp3, see drum_2.mp3. I.5 Musical judgment. Weight, 1%. The ability to discriminate and judge simple patterns in music. Test should not require knowledge of musical jargon. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability, musical discrimination and judgment, U1 U9. Illustrative examples. Which note is higher? See piano1.mp3, see piano2.mp3. Which sounds more dissonant, clashing, see piano chord.mp3, see piano dissonant.mp3. Describe what part of this piece is musically anomalous, if any. See 20th Century Fox, Alien 3. Play the clip for 20 seconds starting at the 34th second. Is she singing very slowly or not? See The Magic Flute, Queen of the Night aria. Appendix J. Speed, S. Weight, 10%. The ability to perform simple cognitive tasks quickly. We decompose processing speed into 10 distinct abilities, each contributing 1% to the AGI score. Perceptual speed, search, 1% the speed of scanning a visual or textual field to find specific targets. Perceptual speed, compare, 1% the speed of comparing two or more stimuli to identify similarities or differences. Reading speed, 1% the rate at which text can be processed with full comprehension. Writing speed, 1% the rate at which text can be generated or copied. Number facility, 1% the speed and accuracy of performing basic arithmetic operations. Simple reaction time, 1% the time taken to respond to a single, anticipated stimulus. Choice reaction time, 1% the time taken to respond correctly when presented with one of several possible stimuli. Inspection time, 1% the speed at which subtle differences between visual or auditory stimuli can be perceived. Comparison speed, 1% the time taken to make a judgment comparing two stimuli on a specific attribute, e.g., which is larger, brighter, or comes first alphabetically. Pointer fluency, 1% the speed and accuracy of moving a pointer, such as a virtual mouse. Note, this is highly related to the broad CHC abilities, processing speed, GS, reaction and decision speed, GT, and to a lesser extent psychomotor speed, GPS. Testing methodology, for all speed tests, the AI's performance, latency or throughput, is compared against the average performance of a well-educated adult on the same tasks. The 1% for each area is awarded if the AI meets or exceeds this human baseline. Crucially, artificial delays, e.g., excessive thinking time for simple tasks, count toward the time limit. J.1 Perceptual speed, search. Weight, 1%. The speed and fluency of searching or scanning an extended textual or visual field to locate one or more simple patterns. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability, perceptual speed, search, PS. Illustrative examples. Scan of instances of A and T in text passages. Scan for instances of is an element of and yen in text made up of random symbols. Return the pairs in this list of lists that sum to 10, 8, 1, 9, 3, 2, 7, 8, 2, 9, 6, 4, 6, 8, 0, 5, 5, 1, 9, 4, 5, 7, 2. Circle one bell in the following image. J.2 Perceptual speed, compare. Weight, 1% the speed and fluency of looking up and comparing textual or visual stimuli that are side by side or more widely separated in an extended textual or visual field. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability, perceptual speed, compare, PC. Illustrative examples. Determine mismatched name pairs in the two lists. Johnson, Smith, Garcia, Miller, Davis. Johnson, Smith, Garcia, Miller, Davis. Find the largest number in 48291, 93652, 12844, 59277. Identify the youngest person in the list. ID. Name. Date of birth. 101. Alice. March 12, 1992. 102. John. July 25, 1988. 103. Maria. November 3, 1990. 104. David. May 19, 1995. J.3 Reading speed. Weight, 1%. Rate of reading text with full comprehension. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability, reading speed, fluency, RS. Illustrative example, read along this textual passage for 60 seconds, a reading/writing speed example. 60 seconds pass. What are feelies? Test, input text token processing speed gauges reading speed. Can measure the time to first token latency of a 100,000 token prompt. J.4 Writing speed. Weight, 1%. The rate at which words or sentences can be generated or copied. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability, writing speed, fluency, WS. Illustrative example, in 60 seconds, please copy and output as much of the following textual passage as you can, a reading/writing speed example. Test, output text token processing speed gauges writing speed. J.5 Number facility. Wait, 1%. The rate at which basic arithmetic or algorithmic operations are performed accurately. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability number facility, n. Illustrative examples. Compute 72 halves. Compute 9 by 10 by 11. Sort from least to greatest, 37, 4, 92, 58, 13. Square each element, 9, 3, 1. J.6 Simple reaction time. Wait, 1%. Reaction time to the onset of a single stimulus, textual, visual, or auditory. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability, simple RT, R1. Illustrative examples. After reading this, immediately say hello. After reading this, immediately output the letter A. I'm going to speak. While I do so, briefly say beep immediately whenever you hear me use the letter Q. U_sequence.m4a. I will play a video. Whenever you see a blue flash, output the letter G as quickly as you can. J.7 Choice reaction time. Wait, 1% reaction time to the onset of one of several possible stimuli. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability choice RT, R2. Illustrative examples. I'll give a string of 4 characters, and you need to repeat the character that is capitalized as quickly as you can. A, B, C, D. As quickly as you can, respond with the character L if the arrow points left, R if right. Stimulus. As quickly as you can, respond with exactly the stimulus letter if it is one of A, E, I, or O. Otherwise, respond with X stimulus, E. As quickly as you can, identify the color of the image. J.8 Inspection time. Wait, 1%. The speed at which differences in visual stimuli can be perceived. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability inspection time, IT. Illustrative examples. Here are 2 strings. They differ in exactly 1 character. What are the 2 letters that differ? QX9AFGHTKLMN, QX9AFGHTKLNN. Which image has a bell? A. B. As quickly as you can, select which voice sounds the most typically feminine. C voice_1.wave, C voice_2.wave, C voice_3.wave. J.9 Comparison speed. Wait, 1%. Reaction time where stimuli must be compared for a particular characteristic or attribute. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability mental comparison speed, R7. Illustrative examples. I will give 2 numbers. As quickly as you can, answer yes or no to whether they have the same parity, both even or both odd 14, 9. I will give 2 numbers. As quickly as you can, indicate which number is larger, 5.11, 5.9. I will give 2 words. As quickly as you can, answer which word comes first alphabetically, apple, apricot. I will give 2 words. As quickly as you can, answer which word has more vowels, reason, crypt. J.10 Pointer fluency. Wait, 1%. The fluency of moving a computer mouse to execute simple requests. Note, we do not assume the AGI must be embodied, so the AI can use a virtual mouse to complete this task, just as it uses virtual keys to write responses. Note, this is highly related to the narrow CHC ability movement time, MT. Illustrative examples. Using a mouse, draw as many roughly circular shapes as you can on a digital canvas using the pen feature. You have 30 seconds. Using a mouse, sketch a very rough outline of a T-Rex on a digital canvas using the pen feature. As quickly as you can, close all the tabs in this browser window, one by one, using the X button on the tabs. Perceptual speed search, perceptual speed compare, reading speed, writing speed, number facility, simple reaction time, choice reaction time, inspection time, comparison speed, and movement speed. Report issue. Generated by LATEXML. Instructions for reporting errors. We are continuing to improve HTML versions of papers, and your feedback helps enhance accessibility and mobile support. To report errors in the HTML that will help us improve conversion and rendering, choose any of the methods listed below. Click the Report Issue button. Open a report feedback form via keyboard, use Ctrl+?. Make a text selection and click the Report Issue for Selection button near your cursor. Our team has already identified the following issues. We appreciate your time reviewing and reporting rendering errors we may not have found yet. Your efforts will help us improve the HTML versions for all readers, because disability should not be a barrier to accessing research. Thank you for your continued support in championing open access for all. Have a free development cycle? Help support accessibility at AR14. Our collaborators at LaTeXML maintain a list of packages that need conversion and welcome developer contributions.